Oh, did you hit live yet?
Yes.
Well, readjust the camera.
There you go.
What's up, guys? FSC Speed Shop. It would have been a little bit better if Matt realized that I was off frame before he pushed the button to go live. But either way, here we are. So obviously we're here in New Jersey with my mom. Say hi, Mom. You guys seen her here before on the channel back in the older videos. Some guys are watching some of the older videos of like you guys cooking and having family meals and all of that. And that's kind of like the last time I think I had you on here.
Yeah, I think.
Last year was really crazy, and I didn't come back for quite a long time until I found out that I'm immune from COVID because we already had it, and that's when I started coming to see you guys again. So it wasn't just me; it was also Matthew and Jen. So
Yeah.
that's how I know that I can't hurt my mom. So obviously we had to worry about that, and that sucked for a long period of time.
Terrible, terrible time.
So
Terrible.
we got the laptop here too, a little bit better of a production here, even though it's live and lives are, obviously no production on that. So we'll be able to read you guys' comments here once the advertisement goes away. I got a few of my own ads. It's kind of funny. Some guys like, oh, I see you sold your soul to advertising. I'm like, this is a business, I don't do this just because I'm bored. So you see like over here, this is a touchscreen monitor too. So it's like, it'll say hello. This guy, Michael Sinclair, says hello, Steve. Greg Pinto says hi, Steve. Thura Savalius, I hope I got it even close to right. Hello, Steve from Finland.
Oh.
So Brian Kemps, hi, Steve. Governor here from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Carl Austin, hello, Steve and Mom from Batavia, New York. Good morning from Crivitz, Wisconsin.
Hey, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's in the house.
New York, yay!
Lucy Drops says, hello, cue ball from Ohio. So there we go.
They know you from
So a bunch of them, so you'll see now they're just saying hi from where they're from, and now you can see what we look like. Matt, I think you need to angle up still.
Okay.
Because for some reason we're wide angle out.
Yeah.
So bring it up a touch. There's a delay, but I think that's good. That's good. Lock her down. All right. So, long story short, guys, we came in from Wisconsin. Obviously, it's actually kind of a little bit of a backstory behind getting here because I always feel the need that I have to explain this. When I go live, we skip far ahead from my normal videos. My normal videos are obviously highly edited and highly produced. So when I go live, you guys start hearing tidbits of information, such as example, the transmission. My transmission broke, I went live. But it took a while, like weeks, for the videos to catch up to the transmission breaking, to the point where some people, Mom, thought that I lost the transmission twice.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because they didn't realize that was a live video. And then one live was sabotaged by Matt acting a fool. So I had to do a produced video, which was kind of to replace the live. So Badger Transmission or Badger Truck Center Rebuild Division got their plug properly for rebuilding my transmission. That way they got it immediately. But now we're not even, like the produced videos, we haven't even towed Orwell home yet. That's how far back we are. So when you go live, it's like we skip ahead into the future.
Yeah.
In reality, produced videos are just lagging back. So a lot of people don't seem to understand that, and I get a lot of comments about that. So I want to bring up the fact that what we're going to discuss today, the produced videos haven't even caught up to that. So with that, when we came in with the Peterbilt about 3/4 of the way. The Peterbilt is loaded with a load that's going down to Baltimore, and Jen and Matt followed along with the Mercedes. So once I dropped the Peterbilt off at a location, we then finished the rest of the trip with the Mercedes, because obviously I can't park the truck at Mom's house. Well, I can, and I've done it, but at 9 o'clock, my Chariot turns into a pumpkin because of the Karen down the block.
Karen.
And she calls the cops, so can't have the truck here past 9 p.m. And that's including just the bobtail. So rather than parking in the grass and divot up the grass, we opted to leave it somewhere else. So that's the game plan. That's how we came in for Easter. So with that, let's go ahead and check the comments here. Tim Freeman, hello, Steve. Who's the pretty lady next to you? Oh, this is my mom. Hi from London, UK.
Wow.
That's Mr. Mad. So yeah, there is which I'm impressed the fact that I actually have a lot of international viewership to this channel, which is like, wait, what? I never thought of that.
Netherlands, Finland, Germany, Costa Rica. You've had people from Africa.
Oh, I think I told you the story. One of the subscribers kind of was trying to explain to me why, because we got into the problems from the Festjek side, that why when the Polak married the Ukrainian, why like that side of my family got so weird.
Yeah.
So there was a guy from Ukraine trying to, on the comments, explain to me why that was. Then I don't even remember what year they got married, but that was a big problem. And that is why I really don't know much of the Festjek side of my family. Some of them are around, but they don't want to talk to me. Still, I'm the grandson of the devil, I guess. So.
I don't know.
So they still don't want to talk. So either way, I thought that was funny.
But the Italians prevail.
Well, yeah, you think about it. Most people don't really realize that. My mom is obviously Italian, born and raised in Brooklyn. Her maiden name was Antoinette Carbonaro, and when she married my dad, obviously changed it to Antoinette Festjek. The Italian side of my family, I obviously grew up around a lot of them. I mean, my family literally, like when there were big weddings, it looked like scenes straight out of Goodfellas or The Godfather, with literally that many people.
Oh yeah.
In fact, we had a relative, God rest his soul, that literally was the spitting image. I looked identical to Clemenza from The Godfather.
Oh yeah, and I know who you mean.
And he talked like him too.
Oh yeah. Well, we all come from Brooklyn.
Right, so it was like we had our own personal Pete Clemenza. Yeah, he passed away. It wasn't that long ago either.
It was 5 years, maybe more.
Yeah, he was cool. And then I'm trying to remember. I can't.
A couple of them that looked like Clemenza.
There was another. No, but he looked exactly like Clemenza. I can't remember. There was like one wedding or some kind of gathering we got to, and it was. I think it was him. Might have been him. He kept giving me and Tanya money to go play in the arcade. And, you and Dad weren't giving me any money, and this guy was just giving us money every time we asked, and we got yelled at for asking him. He probably gave us $50 combined between me and Tanya over the course of that one day.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But yeah, but I grew up around all the Italians, so it's weird. It's like the way I act, the way I talk, the way I think, predominantly comes from my mom's side of the family. And you read my last name, it's like, wait, that seems backwards.
Yeah.
Well, because my father was not well liked, because I guess he was the son of the devils that got married. So I grew up with the heavy New York side of things. Yeah. Although I grew up right here. In fact, this house we're sitting in right here, we moved in here when I was 3.
Yes.
And you guys are still here because you guys are insane. Although now they're not so insane anymore. Now they're getting ready to bounce. So most likely Texas now for you guys.
Texas or Arizona?
Not much humidity in Arizona. None.
I love it. I love it.
She hates the humidity.
I hate the humidity.
Well, the heat's not so bad. The humidity drives her nuts.
Yeah, it's so oppressive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like the government.
Yeah. By the way, guys, since she brings that up, by the way, Mom's health problems actually arose from the lockdowns. Not COVID. The lockdowns created a lot of Mom's recent problems that she's been struggling with. And that's why she hasn't been on camera for a long time, because I've been coming to visit, but I haven't put her on video because, well, she hasn't been feeling well. If you look at older videos compared to today, you can tell that you've been through some crap.
Yeah, I lost a whole lot of weight.
Man, that's not good.
No, not the way I lost.
But now you're back to eating right, and you're actually gaining weight now.
Yes.
So we got to pump you up, get you big and bulky.
Well, I never didn't want to eat. I just couldn't eat.
Right.
It just, internals weren't working.
So, I'm trying to think of how to explain what happened. So long story short, there was a growth in her belly that was constricting her stomach and squished her stomach off. I mean, you ever hear of Italian that didn't want to eat and lost weight from not eating? That's not even,
Yeah.
and in this family,
Yeah.
that's like, wait, what? It's not even possible, but it did happen.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of complications from the surgery to remove the tumor, and the tumor was non-cancerous, thank God we didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
But even just to get the surgery to remove the tumor, first of all, nobody was seeing the decline because nobody here was watching you. Dad saw you every day, so it's kind of like you see something every day, you don't notice there's a decline.
And because Tanya's a nurse, she was exposed to COVID.
And would not come to see
She
me.
wouldn't come to see me, yeah.
Right, and I was all over God's creation, so God only knows what I was dragging into the house, so nobody came to see Mom. So finally, when Mom started, like, literally damn near dying, is when she was finally able to get to the hospital when he found this huge, I mean, what is this?
Softball size.
It was like that big. I mean, Mom's not very big, right? And that's the size of it, roughly. So they took that out, and then there was complications from that. So it was just one after the other after the other. But the fact is, they should have been able to find it when it was like a teensy thing, not there. So in Jersey, it was like, unless you had the COVID or ran over by a truck, you were done. Like, you were just going to die slowly of cancer or a softball or, you know, size growth in your stomach or whatever. As long as, you know, you didn't die of COVID, it was okay.
Yeah.
So that really took Mom downhill fast. So now we're trying to get her back going. She's doing a lot better now. So now she's on camera and
Cooking dinner.
made dinner. Yeah, yesterday was Easter dinner, so she made this whole big production, which is typical of this household.
The
Mhm.
antipasta. We had in the antipasta we had the pepperoni, and we had roasted red peppers, and we had artichokes, and we had and we had different cheeses, and that's our antipasta. Then we had
That's how you start, guys.
Isn't there also salami?
It was
Oh, yeah,
salami. Oh yeah, salami.
Yeah,
Pepperoni.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we had the gavadales, which, if anybody knows what they are, they're like little lead pieces of pasta because they're so heavy.
But so
I
delicious.
swear that stuff expands in your stomach like great stuff foam.
Yeah.
Because you put a little bit on your plate and it will fill you up quick. So it's like straight lead.
Homemade
And
garlic
then
bread.
we had gravy meat, which was pork sausage, meatballs, homemade meatballs, spare ribs, pork spare ribs, and short ribs. So that was our second course. The
Deviled
third
eggs.
course, actually.
Deviled eggs
Oh
in
yeah,
that too.
deviled eggs. Yeah. And
Artichokes.
hard-boiled eggs.
Yep, hard-boiled eggs, artichokes.
Yeah.
So that was to feed what, like 9 people?
9 people.
9 people, because my sister's family was here too. So it was a typical family Easter. That was yesterday.
Just our family. And then I made icebox cake, which
Oh yeah, I didn't eat icebox cake
Never ate it.
yesterday. It got late.
it got late and everybody was full and nobody wanted the cake at that point. So
How do you describe icebox cake?
it's cooked chocolate pudding with graham crackers in between the layers. So it's graham crackers, pudding, graham crackers. It's got 3 layers of that.
And the graham crackers get real soft too,
Yeah.
so it's like it turns into like a soft pie filling kind of
Yes.
like. So it's we literally would beat each other up around here for icebox cake.
Yeah. So that was our dinner from yesterday.
Yep. And haven't had breakfast yet. I had to drag my computer all the way over here to edit. Like, this is Matt's laptop, so it doesn't have the power to do the editing. So I'm set up in the basement now on a card table editing video. That's what I was doing this morning. So let's go through some of these comments here. Scroll down here. Man, I am so backed up on comments here. I hate that. But I always feel bad when I skip over people, but it gets to be so many, you can't get them all. Then you try to just do them, so I'll tell them if I don't get to you, just repeat them. Maybe I'll get to you that way. Billy the Kid said, "Hey, Mr. Steve, how are you doing, and how is Orwell going?" Orwell is going great. We put the transmission in him, and just been running pretty much, not gonna say nonstop, but been running hard for, I don't know, about the last 3 weeks to a month, just straight getting after it. So already been out to the West Coast and back, a bunch of trips to the East Coast, and I'm trying to edit all that content and get it out to you. Excuse me. Damn it. Dry throat. But yeah, we've been running. You hear me? Like very gravelly. It's not helping. But yeah, we've been running real hard. So Orwell's doing great.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Can we silence my phone without cutting it?
Huh.
Thank you. My ringtone. Somebody texted me, or I got an alert for something. Who knows? Steve, Bobby
message.
Stream and Text says he's a regular. Steve, this is the reason I am to attach to your channel. Remember those Peterbilts my dad drove. Omar Youssef, I'm from Brooklyn too. Bensonhurst here. Where in Brooklyn were you? I know, but tell them where you're from in Brooklyn.
55th Street and 16th Avenue, which I think is Borough Park.
Borough Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys always called it Borough Park. But yeah, that's where Mom grew up. Let's see here. Hi, Mom and Steve. That's Travis Huckleberry. Let's see here. Mr. Mad. I live by the Tower of London. It's snowing here at the moment. Orwell is a great truck. I think so. I never figured an old cab over would be the reason why my automotive channel would blow up and turn into a trucking channel. But nonetheless, here we are, and I'm grateful for everything that's come of that, because it actually has definitely improved the life of my family. Let's see here. Hello, Steve and Mom from Mandeville, Jamaica. That's Deacon's Jamaica said that. Hello, Steve and Mama. Steve from Denmark. Oh, from Denmark, Europe. Will Mama Steve be making you nice spaghetti for dinner? We had Gabardales yesterday, so
Yeah.
today is leftovers today.
Mm.
Oh, wait, you were making something else today, I thought.
Well, we
Clams
have
and
that whole
noodles.
bunch of left.
Clams
What?
and noodles. Clams and noodles.
Clams and macaroni.
Spaghetti, yes.
Yeah, please.
You have macaroni again.
Yeah, I asked him
He was begging
specifically.
for that. 'Cause
Specifically.
Jen made some kind of side dish.
Yeah, she made like some kind of
macaroni, and I was like, "You might
Yeah.
be getting that over Easter, maybe." So,
And it was this like olive oil noodle like pre-made packet thing that she made, and I smelled it and I'm like, Dad, smell it. It smells like macaroni and clam. He goes, "You're right. It even tastes like
and
it
we
too
ate
without
it like,
the clams."
it put me right in the mindset.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dad, can you make sure Grandma makes that while we're there?
Yeah, make sure Grandma does it.
So I always feel bad because like some of these names are harder than ours, right? So this is Romeric Querson, Querson. Hi from France.
Okay. Hi, France.
Jan Nielsen, hi from Denmark. Mr. Mad said, "Wow, I'm not sure why." Hi there, brother and Steve. Come on, 10-4. Okay, it's Freddie. He's obviously truck driver lingo here. Randy Bounds, you have a sweet mom. God bless. Richard Lintermoot says, "How's your 362?" Orwell's been running great. Videos are like literally 5 weeks behind. This is the thing. It's like some weeks there's so much content that I put out there that it's like I try not to overdo it. I try to only drop 4 videos a week.
That's a lot.
Talking with this dry throat's not helping me. Right, and if you do too much, too fast, then they get bored and they don't watch. So it's kind of like you get more views by doing more videos, not necessarily. You're doing a lot more work, but getting a lot less people watching.
Right.
So I try to only do four a week. Omar Youssef says replied Borough Park, but we skipped ahead so far. Love your 362 Peterbilt. That was Romeric Querson that I'm sorry if I butcher your names, but trust me, I'm used to it because.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a funny story. Because rather than just, I like to read comments, but the other purpose of this live stream also is to try to get Mom to tell some of the funny stories. So, messing up names.
Yes.
So, when I went to school, like literally a few blocks from here, like I would ride my bike to one particular school, Woodland School. I don't know what they call it now. Probably is this a Woodland School?
Yeah.
Back then when I had to like be called in, because like if you showed up to, if I forgot my lunch or something, you had the intercom system, which was like you hit throw one switch or two switches, like that would be like a one MC on a submarine, like everybody heard it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you had individual rooms, you could hit the intercom for just the
Right.
one room. So my mother would. So I'm not gonna tell a story. You tell a story. How they would mess up the name.
Oh, they butcher it because the way it's spelled, people just get thrown off with the Z in Festjack.
So it's a silent Z. It's not that hard. But the
Right.
funny part of the story was you would walk into the office and tell them,
What was
"Can you
that?
call Steve Feschak down and get lunch?"
To get their lunch or
Whatever.
whatever. Whatever reason I was being called to school that day for.
Yeah, that could happen too. This was like my lawyer when I was in school too. Shout out to Miss Panic.
They knew me. As soon as I walked in the door, people would say, "Hi, Miss Festjack." Hi. They all knew me.
So my mother would say, "Can you pay Steve Feschak down and get his lunch?" Turn the intercom on. Miss Pastor, can you send Steve a fight check to the office?
Oh yeah.
And Mom's like, "You just heard me say it right. You can't just parrot what you just heard."
It's terrible. It really is terrible.
So I had to tell a story.
Well,
I didn't for you to tell a story, Mom.
when Daddy was in the Air Force, they gave up saying his name. They would just say FVS here. They didn't even try the name. And he was known as Fezzy.
That's what John's also known as.
Well, it's same last name. Skipped way ahead, so if I missed you guys, sorry, you're gonna have to retype or so. Joseph Guerrero says, "Steve, do you grow up in Brooklyn?" No, I grew up right here in New Jersey. Mom grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So you were like how old when you moved out of there?
18-ish. No, maybe. Well, moved out of there in December, I think it was, 1970. Met Daddy in January and got married in September of the
Same year.
And
Wow.
we've been married for 50 years.
Yeah, 50 years.
And because of my friend COVID, we couldn't celebrate.
When was your 50-year
Go 51.
anniversary?
September.
This
6th.
September or last September?
The one we just passed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they got married in 70, so September 2020
Okay.
was 50 years.
So coming up soon is gonna be 51st.
51,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to celebrate your 50th on your 51st,
Whenever we get to doing it.
or whenever you decide to move out of a very oppressive state.
Yeah, that too.
Well, long story short, my sister's going to be moving too, and they are going to wait till my sister and her husband find jobs where they're going to be moving to. And once they get settled, that's when Mom and Dad are moving because they're going to be staying close to the family. And also, one day I'm leaving Wisconsin eventually.
Yeah, Wisconsin for old people is just too cold.
Yeah, not
I
good for the
don't
cold.
want to stay here either because there's too much snow.
And it's warm here compared to Wisconsin in the winters.
Yeah, so we don't want to stay here anymore in the cold. We're done with the snow, because of my lack of good health. As soon as it snows outside, I stay in the house. I just cannot risk being outside and falling. I've had enough medical problems. I don't need anything else. So I just want to get out of the cold. I'm going to be a snowbird, maybe, but not to Florida. Although that's a good state to go to. But
The humidity is not good for Mom, but Florida has for me, Jen, and Matt. Ultimately, me and Jen, because Matt's gonna go fly to Coop one day when he's pretty much far. Jen's face, but yeah, Matt's you figure Jen is not gonna. You figure Matt is of the age where I still got to yell at him for trying to sabotage live streams. But also, he'll be moving out soon, so there's a point very rapidly approaching where it's just going to be me and Jen in the house. So we're anticipating that. So we don't know where Matt's going to wind up in life.
Right.
But I plan on Florida and living on a boat. So anybody got a cheap 39-foot Express Cruiser Sea Ray, hit me up. Although I know where one's at for not much money, but when you're talking about post that big, not much money is still a lot of money.
Yeah, well, wait for your inheritance.
I have to be able to afford to park the boat somewhere too.
Oh, yeah. Well, your inheritance will cover that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Well,
Boats are pretty big, Ma.
so is your inheritance.
How about you stick around? How about you stick around and we just don't worry about that?
Okay.
Right, there you go. Because, who needs money? I'd rather my mom and dad. So, Joseph Guerrero asked Steve, did your father drive a tractor trailer?
Oh,
No. No, I was the first driver in the family, actually. We had a cousin that kind of sort of cousin, I guess.
Well,
Your cousin's
my
husband
first cousin's husband
drove a truck and wrecked it promptly. And that was like the first Peterbilt that I was ever able to like get in and be up close to. It was the first year of 379, so it'd be 87, I think. And it had a Cummins engine in it, flat top sleeper. I thought that truck was badass. You wouldn't hear me ride in it though.
Yeah.
But I thought that truck was badass. It was all black with some silver striping on it.
Brand new.
Brand spanking new.
Yeah.
And he used it for local work around here. He claimed he bought the big large car because of resale value, which probably was good, but I don't know what he got for resale value after he put it on its side.
Right.
Even that story didn't make any sense. But I was a kid when I was told it. But I don't know. How do you wreck a truck and not get it replaced? Oh,
Well,
maybe
I
it
don't
wasn't
think he-
insured enough.
I don't think he wanted to drive anymore after that, so
Then why would you buy a brand new truck?
I don't know.
Either way, that was the first time I was introduced to a big Peterbilt like that. Years later, I would buy my own. That one was an 87-ish, and mine that I bought was a 99. So, Mr. Matt says, wow, 50 years of marriage. That's wonderful. That's like unheard of. But mom and dad still do it. And to be honest, my mom and dad, they still to this day, they help each other out, like medically. Because my dad, maybe we'll do a live stream with dad later tonight. Dad's health is not the best either. And let me tell you, when it comes to tough guys, there is no tougher. My father, no stranger to this, nowadays he has an oxygen hose that he has to drag around the house because
That's
emphysema, COPD,
Yeah, he
and
doesn't have
Is that
emphysema, he
emphysema?
has
COPD.
COPD
so
and prostate cancer.
he's medically
Challenge.
challenged as well, and he's got a handful of other issues. It's like the prostate cancer, they give him hormone treatment to try to de-elevate his testosterone, which of course that isn't a good thing, but it slows the cancer down, so that causes other problems.
Yeah.
So my dad's dealing with all of that. He's been very steadily working and helping and taking care of my mom, while never once bitching or complaining or having anything to say. He just pushes through, and I'm like, this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, 7 months that I've been debilitated.
So yes, since the surgery, it's been 7 months.
Yeah.
And my dad doesn't bitch or complain at all. He just does what he has to do.
Yeah.
So, you talk about a tough guy. He just pushes through, and that's amazing today. Where most people, they kind of give up on each other, and you guys never did. So, and you're always there to help Dad when he needs help. So, growing up, that's all I remember was
Yeah, I was his gopher in the
garage.
Yeah.
Fixing stuff. So yeah, that's how I grew up, with a good well meshed together relationship.
Yeah, we had a good
Took me forever
home.
to find that.
Yeah.
But yeah, home is still home. This is, where you guys raised me and Tanya, and this house is still home. Even long after you guys are moved out of here, I'll still refer to Jersey, and this house is home, even though somebody else will be living here. But it's where we grew up. Gladiator 0719 says Matt needs to join the Marine Corps. Semper Fi. Huh? That is an option for Matthew. Although he's got to, like the recruiter said, he's got to stay hungry and sweaty. Hopefully Matt will grow a little bit bigger, like taller. But me and Matt actually a lot of some of the when I wear the GoPro hat, it picks up my heavy breathing.
All right.
But I edit the video down to 20 minutes. But if it takes me 30 minutes to carry all the chains, binders, and tarps, I'm huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
But I showed them a minute and a half, and they're like, man, you are out of shape. Well, yeah, I'm out of shape. But that one segment, you don't know how much I worked prior to that one segment. And I get all the comments. I'm like, all right, but.
Yeah, but you're Italian and you
We
eat a
eat.
lot. You know, when we have parties, it's about food, not about booze.
So CR Wedge sabotaging the live stream. If you're gonna talk, talk. If not, don't. How has the transition back to Orwell been from the nice company truck you borrowed with all the comforts of life, including a night heater and a huge soft bed? Well, Orwell has a bigger, softer bed, much nicer than that truck did because, well, that was a Christmas present from you guys. So it's not a plug, but I ordered it from bigrigmattress.com and it showed up in like a tube.
Yeah.
And there's directions on it as to how you open it. This is before I was doing videos with the truck. There's instructions on how you open it, and you cut with a knife through the plastic, and it's spring loaded. Okay, so it's like you're letting it doesn't like kablam and go straight flat, but it's pretty vicious its first little bit, and then it gently folds over. But if you got a position wrong, you're gonna have to reposition it. And that big bed, I swear, when I take that mattress out of that truck, I'm probably gonna have to cut it apart, because I don't know how to get it out of the truck without taking the roof off. But yeah, you're gonna have to chop it up and get it out of there.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, that is a nice, comfy mattress. So that was a gift from Mom and Dad when I got the truck going. So let's see here. Yeah, but as far as Matt goes, yeah, he is looking into the military, and but he doesn't need to either grow taller or lose some weight. But back to my breathing. Me and Matt have rejoined the gym now that we found a gym where we could breathe without having to suffocate to death. Think about it. How the hell do you do cardio with a friggin' mask on? Okay?
Yeah.
That's just like really asking for trouble, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I found a gym that isn't, and Wisconsin no longer has a mask mandate. Now that the Wisconsin Supreme Court told the governor you can't do that. So you can breathe in the gym. At least the gym I go to. And I'm not going to tell you where it is because then the Karens will cry. So, see here. Where were we? How was the transition back? Oh, yeah. So, Orwell doesn't have a nav system that beeps and complains and cries when I go somewhere it doesn't think I should. When I have a delivery down a road, it thinks. Like, literally, the truck started beeping and going crazy. Mom doesn't watch my videos. So I'm driving down the road, and it's like, it's like, boop, boop, and you got to hit OK, or it won't stop beeping. It will just beep nonstop. Now, I'm making a left turn in front of the bridge. So a right turn, I mean. So I know there's a low bridge, and this thing will go off 100 freaking times. And if you don't shut it off, it'll go off like nonstop.
I'd have to shoot it.
And I was yelling at it on video. I was yelling at it, and then it's low weight roads, but all the roads we're going past are weight restricted, not the one I'm on. Beep 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 beep. I was ready to take the claw hammer. This thing. This is built into the radio of the truck, so whether it's on or off, it goes off. I'm like, I don't know how to turn this thing off. It just drove me nuts. And of course, I didn't mean it to sound like ticked off Vic, but I'm like, because I'm like, where's shipping and receiving? I'm like, maybe you should tell me where it is. You know everything else.
Yeah.
So it always, Orwell doesn't have any of that crap. So that's why I love Orwell, because it's manual. If you don't know how to drive truck, you cannot drive Orwell. If you're a steering wheel holder, you ain't getting Orwell very far. So all that modern stuff, I can't stand it. Need to hear how a Jersey boy ended up in Wisconsin. That's how he wrote it. That's Hugh Stevenson. Okay, here's a real quick thing. I used to work for Crail Camp Trucking before I was on with Widmeyer's. Crail Camp had a yard in Edison, New Jersey, literally down the street, and Allenton, Wisconsin, and I did back and forth. So I moved to Wisconsin once I started with Widmeyer Express, because, well, they only have the one yard, so it's best if you live near the yard. So I moved up there. Plus, also in the recession of '08, I couldn't afford to pay rent on a house and pay the repair bills on the Peterbilt.
Right.
And I still had big payments on that Peterbilt. So my option was to rent a shop, not live in a house. And when I came to visit my sons, I came here. So what I needed an apartment for was just furniture storage. I was never there.
Yeah.
So I stayed in the truck, came here when I picked up the boys, and worked on my own truck at the at the shop that I rented. And that's how my shop came to be. So that's how I wound up in Wisconsin and why I have the shop I do now. Dalton Transport said, Mama's got to feed her baby. Yeah, duh.
I make special food I know he likes. Although now he has competition from Sean.
My older son, Sean, yeah.
Yeah. And their favorite meal is stuffed calamari.
That's stuffed squid for you non-Italians.
And they both love it.
So a little before that, Scarlett Walker said, LOL, hey, I'm from Minnesota. It's cold here. It's not for old people. No. Although I don't think Minnesota is really for people.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's not much better. So Wisconsin better get their head out of their ass. Oh no, Michigan, forget it. I know literally, people literally they would consider living in that area, but as soon as realtors would say Michigan, not happening.
No.
So Richard Lintermoot said, hey Matt, I'm a NJROTC in high school of PRCMS. I'm not really sure what that means, but he's a New Jersey ROTC guy. So I don't know if that he is or is like a recruiter or something. But yeah, Matt has possibly a future in the military. But anyway, back to the gym. That's why we're in the gym, because Matt needs to drop a couple pounds to get into the military. But he might still grow between now and then too, as far as height wise.
Yeah, because he's at that age now where they just grow.
Yeah, and I have custody of Matthew because, well, his mom didn't feed him right, and when he should have been growing, he wasn't eating the right foods.
It was going the wrong way.
Yeah, and you were growing the wrong way. Exactly. Joyce Warman said, it's nice to visit with Mom. Enjoy it. Doesn't last forever. He is risen. RW says, your mom should have an apron with the I Love Orwell truck.
Okay.
That's a good merch idea.
Yeah.
Silly Toast to order aprons. It's not a bad idea. Mr. Mad, I looked after my mother and father for 17 years before they passed away, as well as driving a truck. Your mother and father are wonderful people. Yeah, well, we have history of taking care of older people in this house because when I was a child, see, this is a big ass house, okay?
Yeah, it is.
And the reason this is a big ass house, and it's ridiculous for this huge ass house for 2 people living.
Yeah.
But when it was built, how many people were here?
It was 4 of us.
That's
My mother,
that's me and you, Dad, and Tanya, my sister.
Right.
So our immediate family is 4.
Right.
Then your mother and father, Grandma and Grandpa,
Yeah.
the Carbonaros,
Yes. And then my 2 brothers,
Gerard and Jerry.
And then Jerry got married, and his wife was here too. Then they had a baby,
Jennifer,
who lived in this house also.
Right.
So we had a whole lot of people.
So it was like, I'm not going to give a whole map of the house, but like the room that's over this way, that's where Jerry and Alice and later baby Jennifer would stay. Okay, because that was their room. The room over here where now I sleep when I visit now, that's where Grandma and Grandpa stayed.
Yeah.
I had my room upstairs. That was always my room from the day we moved in to the day I moved out as an adult.
4 bedrooms upstairs.
Tanya had the top one above in the middle, and then Gerard had the one next to my room, and then you and Dad had the master bedroom up on the other end of the house. So that's how many people we had. So if over the time, obviously Jerry moved out with his wife Jennifer and had their own family and did their own thing, and then Gerard he only came in when he was in college. Like when college was out, he came in. So eventually he moved on to do his own thing, and then it was just us 4 and Grandma and Grandpa. So that's why I was like, I thought it was normal. Like everybody had we visit Grandma and Grandpa. Who has to visit Grandma and Grandpa? They live with you.
Yeah.
Well, no, not everybody had it like that. That's what we had. And that was...
When we had family dinners. Now this kitchen is 24 feet long.
Here, let me do that. Let me show this. So, if you can picture, this is the kitchen. I'm gonna keep backing up, tripping on the recycling. So there's the stove. Sorry, yesterday's beer bottles. There's the stove, and we had for big Thanksgivings. That table wasn't that same table, but that table size. Then was this table here. Then we had another another like long table, and then another card table.
Right.
All full. There's like one gigantic table in this big kitchen with the entire family. Yes, there is a dining room, but it's too small for the entire family. So once or twice we did. Honestly, we never really did. It was more of a decorative dining room to have a dining room than it was actually a functional one. Because we always just ate in the kitchen. But that's how huge families were, or huge family gatherings were. So because my grandparents lived here, all the kids came to visit, all the cousins came to visit.
Yeah.
And we all ate the most gigantic turkey on planet Earth.
Yeah.
That was cooked.
We had 2 stoves.
Yeah, it was cooked in the oven downstairs.
That's right. And the poor guy had to bring it upstairs.
Yep. We
When the
had
turkey was done.
had 2 refrigerators. 3. You had the
Yeah.
one in here, the one in the other room, and then the one in the basement.
Yeah.
3 refrigerators.
Needed it. Certain times you just turned them all on and we needed it.
And still to this day, we use the second, which is like a 1950 something hot point, which
Yeah,
with the door handle, like you can lock your kid in there.
An inside freezer.
Yep.
A tiny little freezer that you had to open the main door.
But it was one of those old dangerous refrigerators where you had to, like if somebody was inside it, you could
Right.
lock someone in a refrigerator.
Absolutely.
Which one of those antique ones, and
Yeah.
it still runs.
Yeah.
So we only use it when we like. Dad fired it up today to put a couple things in there for leftovers. When we leave and then empty out the fridge, he'll open it up and turn it off. That's why it's still alive, because we never
Yeah.
used it full time. But yeah, that thing survived the shed in the Poconos up in Pennsylvania for the longest time too.
It did. Yeah, that was our spare refrigerator in the
Yep.
Poconos.
It's always a spare fridge. So that's how we did it, as a big family gatherings.
It's all about food, like I said before.
So eventually, Grandma and Grandpa. Well, back to the taking care of my grandfather. What was it? 86. His surgery.
Yeah, right around there.
Right around there. It was like Christmas time.
Yeah,
A little
yeah.
bit right around
Yeah, it
Christmas
was.
time. Around 96, my grandfather went in for an aortic aneurysm, and he got a massive fever from an infection or something.
Yeah.
And
Thinking about the hospital, believe me, he had a fever from a staph infection.
and he the fever cooked his brain, and it messed him up mentally bad. So physically he was reasonably okay, but mentally, and he got worse, and he got better, and he got worse, and it wasn't the best scenario. Let me guess, it's gonna be a telemarketer, probably. Answer it and then probably hang up. So, no, I thought,
Just let it go.
but it's gonna ring.
Who's it?
Farmingdale,
Oh, that's
New Jersey. Just a
stupid
ha-
telemarketer.
90% of the phone calls coming to this house is bullcrap. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, your car's extended warranty.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
social security card has been suspended.
Your social security number has been suspended.
Right, and
So-
this is your last final warning about something, who knows?
Right.
And I keep calling with this last final notice.
And we're gonna fix your credit card. I don't have a credit card. Good luck.
Yeah.
So, so as my grandfather got sick, you know, we took care of him here, and then at some point, he got so sick we just couldn't have him here any longer. It wasn't possible. But man, we held on to like the last little bit of end to keep
Yeah.
Grandpa living here with us. So he wound up in a nursing home, and then he later passed away. And then Grandma lived here, but then actually while he was in a nursing home, Grandma moved to Connecticut to be close to him.
Yeah.
So then it became us 4 in the house. And then I got old and moved out. And then Tanya got old and moved out.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's you and Dad still in this big ass
Yeah.
house. Oh my God. I swear, you guys move out, just light a match. It's easier than moving at all.
Lots.
We got a
Stuff.
lot of comments here, Ma. We'll just start randomly here. Joyce Warman says it's nice to visit with Mom and we read that already. Okay, went too far. See, I was New York speed drummer. I was wondering if you were going to chill with your mom this Easter. Hey guys, watching from Minnesota, despite the username. New York speed drummer. Well, even Minnesota is better than New York.
Okay.
Bernhard Schneidley, I guess. I'm a bush driver. My new Mercedes-Benz city bus makes me crazy about bye. That's like old school. I'm guessing if you're driving a Mercedes city bus, it's probably not in the United States. So yeah, that's why I like old school. Yeah, because app is just.
Yeah.
When it becomes a point where your truck warns you every time it doesn't need to warn you, you're not going to pay attention to the real warning that actually needs to be heeded.
Yeah.
That's the problem with modern trucks. Your mom looks so tiny sitting next to you. She's tinier standing next to me.
If I stand real tall and have really thick sneakers on, I'm 5 feet.
I'm 6 foot, so. I've worked on those old daily trucks. That's Patrick McVeigh. I'm not sure what he's. Sometimes they'll talk amongst each other, and I read a comment like, "Oh, that had nothing to do with me." So why did I do that? Just skip so far, so down. Stephen Mellinghouse says, "Happy Easter from Germany."
Happy Easter too.
Balin Mavic Legacy says, "I see a can of chock full of nuts coffee."
Up there.
Oh, the old coffee can. Went back when I backed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, old metal coffee can. Good luck with that. You don't have to get it, Goobs.
I was standing.
Okay. Wow, a metal coffee can. That's before your
also
time.
one over there too.
There aren't too many coffee places that make.
There's an even bigger one right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
large
a good
one.
giant one.
I'm saying there aren't that many metal coffee cans. Usually they're plastic. Maybe the bigger
Now
ones.
they are. They're
Yeah.
cardboard or plastic.
Don't you guys use them just for storage?
Hello, Mom from
Right
Pittsburgh,
now.
Pennsylvania. That's Aaron Price. Aaron Price also says Happy Easter to you both. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Gladiator 0719 says they feed you great in boot camp, but they work you hard too. Prep with lots of cardio, medium weight training, and lots of reps. That's what you've been doing. Matt has been doing it, so the point is, Matt and I both, more Matthew because I've been trucking. Matthew's been in the gym a good amount, so that's good. ICENI 80. Hello, Mom from England.
Hi.
Has your mom ever ridden in Orwell?
I can't get in it.
I mean, we could lift you.
It's a lot of
Now
climb.
you can, yeah.
We could probably get you in there one of these days, but you've ridden you've ridden my Peterbilt,
Yeah,
you've
but
ridden my
this-
Freightliner,
But the steps,
my white one.
the steps on Orwell
Yeah.
to get in there.
It's like climbing a
is
ladder.
t- No, it's longer.
Yeah.
And I can't lift my leg up to get on the last step. I just can't do it.
I bet if I worked hard enough, I can get you in that truck.
You'd probably pick me up.
Like
and
pull
put
you
me in
like
it.
nose up to a loading dock or something and you just walk right
Or
in.
just make like a wooden
Dad got in
steps.
there, but I had to help Dad step his feet
Right.
properly. But he's been in it. He never rode in it, but he sat behind the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It's funny watching my dad get behind the wheel of my truck, and he's just like mesmerized with all like the shifter and all that. But it's like all the gauges and just so high up. He's never driven semi truck. He drove my Freightliner around the block once.
Did he?
Couldn't shift it though.
Oh.
He was trying. He got a couple gears, but that was in the neighborhood at my old house in Pennsylvania, and it was either straight uphill or straight downhill. So it was definitely very difficult to teach somebody how to float gears on hills.
But there was a question earlier that wanted to know if Daddy was a truck driver. But
Yeah,
that's not what he did for a living. He
No.
was into electronics, and he was an instrument mechanic for industrial instrumentation all of his life.
right. So that's the thing for me. Like I never got into the electronics.
No,
I never
he-
did. He did.
Yeah, he used to, as a side job, when the kids were younger, he would fix TVs and VCRs way back when.
Those are before DVRs.
And there was one story that's kind of funny. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Daddy would have TVs on his workbench downstairs, and he would be fixing them and leaving them, when he had to go to bed. And the TVs would be open on his workbench. And Stephen had HO trains?
Yeah, HO train set.
Yeah.
This is all in the basement, so.
Yeah.
My dad's workbench is like on like this side of the house in the basement, and my HO trains were on the other side of the basement on your ping pong table.
Pool table. That's when we had the real long
Okay.
track, the wheel around.
The wheel around one.
Track.
Yeah, that one straddled the pool table.
That straddled the pool table, yeah. And so one day Stephen was working on his trains doing something, and finally that night, Dad
needed a
went
wire.
downstairs. Yeah, but he went downstairs and he's looking at the TV back of it, and he's saying, something's missing here. Well, it turns out, he goes, Stephen. Stephen goes downstairs and he said, there's something missing here. Can you tell me what it is? And Stephen said, I needed a wire for my train. So Stephen went into the being worked on TV and cut some wires that he needed from the TV to work and fix his trains. So we had to warn him after that, don't touch the TVs.
You can't cannibalize a working television for a piece of wire for your train set.
No, especially those TVs back then, they were very dangerous. Certain parts of the
High voltage capacitors in there.
yeah, and so that was not a good thing to do, but he was warned. But it's a working joke around here. Keep Stephen away from the backs of TVs because he'll steal wires for his trains.
You do something once, 35 years ago, they never let you live it down. Let's see, yeah, a little nice mom and big boys. Where we go, we skipped again. I must hold it too long or something. Oh, Aaron Price says she said hey to your wife. I don't know what you're talking about there. You're talking about Jen?
The comment before is saying my sister just came back from Philly.
Oh.
She heard that your wife is from Philly, and then the next comment says she says hi to your
I
wife.
missed that. Okay,
meaning
yeah.
she's saying hi to Jen
Hi to
because she's
Jen,
from
'cause
Philly.
Jen's from Philly.
Gotcha.
I'm also reading the comments
Okay,
on the
cool.
phone.
I still have a few tapes floating around the house. I need to ask my brother as to get rid of them. A few tapes. I don't even know what that's talking about. Oh, missed my Zenith VHS player.
Right. We still have one.
You should tell the story of the VCR, like the first one,
The very first one?
top loader.
Yeah. That
It weighed
was-
about as much as an engine block.
Oh God, it was heavy. It was, but it was kind of like one of the first ones out there.
What'd you pay for it?
$1,500.
Matt ought to hear this story too. You younger guys.
What?
So VCRs first came out, they were like the brand new thing, and they literally paid $1,500.
That's half of the Chevelle she bought.
That's right.
Right.
What?
Half of a car,
For
a VCR, to be
a
able to tape,
box.
to tape your TV programs on.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
But that was brand new technology. Never even heard of these things before.
That's right.
And it was retarded. It was ridiculous expensive.
Well, you were a baby. You were.
Yeah,
you
so
were
we're talking
crawling.
1978.
Okay.
Yeah.
77, 78. So they bought the first VCR for $1,500. They were one of the first ones with one.
Yeah.
And it was in the rec room for like forever, because I remember messing with that as a kid. It had a remote control with a wire.
Yeah.
And it only fast forwarded
Wait, a remote control wire?
with a wire.
With a wire.
That's not a remote
Because
control.
it was not remote. It had optics
Well, you
for
didn't
remotes
have to
yet.
get up and press the button on the machine.
But you did have to
itself.
get up, change the channel, or to raise and lower the volume.
Absolutely.
And you had to adjust the tracking.
Yeah.
Did it have the bunny ear antennas you had to
No.
change to
No,
like?
No, that's VCR we're talking about. No, bunny. No, we had. No, because we're close enough to New York. So Grandpa we're like, from New York City, I don't think it's 10 miles as the crow flies.
Right.
So Grandpa it's still upstairs in the attic. Still to this day, it's still there.
Big ass
A
antenna.
big antenna. Now it's in the attic. You have to put it on outside of the house. It was put in the attic, so the RF would come straight through the wood.
Yeah.
So it didn't have to be high because we're high enough. It's a 2-story house. Plus New York is real close, so anything broadcast from New York, the antenna would catch.
Yeah.
So until they started laying cable for cable TV, when I was a kid, I remember riding bikes, watching them chop holes in the street to lay the cable. So still to this day, you still see some of the notches in the roads from where they cut for the conduits.
Yeah.
But later on, they laid cable TV. But originally, when we're talking this VCR, you had over-the-air television. There was Channel 2, Channel 3 was for the VCR. Channel 4, Channel 5, there was no Channel 6, you had Channel 7, there was no 8, WOR was Channel 9,
Yeah, and then we had channel 11.
11, there was no 10, 11 and 13 was public broadcasting, there's no 12. Anything after that was UHF, and we never had that.
We did.
We did?
Yeah, and that's what the rotor was for.
Oh, that was before me, though.
No, it was in this house too. We had a rotor that
Would rotate an
would
antenna.
rotate the UHF antenna.
I must have been little because I remember the one rotor. No, there was 2 rotors on the roof. One was for Grandpa's TV. That was the UHF.
Yeah.
Grandpa's TV in Grandpa's room. That's why I don't remember because I wasn't on to watch it. The other rotor was for Dad's ham radio antenna.
Yes.
Up top on the roof.
Yeah.
And that was a big old antenna because Dad was a ham radio operator.
He still is.
Still is.
He's got the highest level license for ham radio.
Yep. WB2 PTG.
Do you have that memorized?
Been all my life.
Yeah.
It was the license plate number on the Datsun.
Really? He put the...
Yeah, the ham radio. He had the license plate to his ham license.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whiskey
That's
Baker
cool.
2, Whiskey Baker 2, Papa Tango Golf.
Yeah.
I sat like that one Frequency movie. I spent a lot of time on Dad's lap talking to people all over the place. Now we got the internet, but back then that was the only way you talked to like other people in other countries, like a big CB, but obviously much more powerful. So that was quite awesome. Somebody said hello from Connecticut. Didn't catch who that was. Happy Easter to you all. That's Vinter. Hi, Mom. Happy Easter to you all. Greetings from Norway.
Happy Easter.
Windsor Will. Hey, Steve, what was your favorite VHS VCR as a youngster? I don't know. They were just stuff we used. But the coolest one, I guess, was the top loader.
Yeah.
That was the old original one.
You had, of course, kiddie movies that we played for you.
Right. So I don't know if you're talking about the tape or the actual machine, but the tape itself. You recorded all that stuff like Dumbo and you used to tape if I was bad, you wouldn't let me watch it, but like Knight Rider and A-Team, and then you taped them for me even if I was bad.
W8.
That was the shows that we would watch.
Mm-hmm. But we had a lot of children's pre-recorded tapes.
Was my Cars movie on VHS or was that DVD?
The original one was VHS.
Because I remembered you guys always made the joke that I would wear that thing out.
No. Your Cars was DVD.
Oh, okay.
Like, how do you wear out a DVD?
Yeah.
Matt will wear out Cars DVD. Yeah, no, your older brother Corey, he had a lot of the Winnie the Pooh, and those are all VHS tapes.
Oh, okay.
And
Sean had Scooby-Doo VHS tapes.
Yeah.
But Sean you started transitioning to DVDs because that's when VCRs were just rapidly just dying off.
But again, we still have one. Workable.
Chuck U. Farley says, your parents used to record something off of TV and you say, why you do that? They cut all the good bits out. It's better to rent it. Yeah, but you got to pay money to rent it. Well, you could
Do it for free.
take it off air for free, you know. Believe it or not, when I was a kid, we did not have a lot of money. We actually were in debt to our eyeballs, and I didn't know it because you guys didn't tell me that.
Wasn't your business.
Right. So but we had I'll tell you what, we did a lot with very little.
Yeah.
So think about it. my father bought a brand new truck in '77, and he got rid of it in '89 when basically it was like rusty and falling apart. Mm-hmm. He bought an '89 Suburban, and he ran that until basically it wouldn't quit breaking down on him, and again rusty and basically junky. It wasn't until later in years where you guys started actually cycling vehicles and always keeping new stuff. But Dad would buy brand new, but he would run it forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we didn't have. There wasn't a lot of money, but in the savings that they were there, we had the travel trailer and then later the Pocono, the park model in the Poconos. Yeah. So, but we would, and the boat, the original Jits, the OG Jits.
Jits.
Jitts. J-I for Jim. I, or two T's, one Tanya, one Tony, or Tony and Tanya, whichever one. Mm-hmm. And then S was me. And that's why we named the boat Jits. So Jits 2 was, if you go way back in the early vlogs I did, Jits 2 was an Alumacraft that you guys had bought for an early retirement gift for you and Dad. And then I wound up getting the boat off you guys. And it was a great boat, but it didn't really quite meet Lake Michigan can be a bit rough for a 16-foot Alumacraft. Yeah. So that's why we got the Sea Ray we got now, which you still need to build an engine for.
Nice.
I'm trying.
90 Ford.
See here. Gladiator 0719 says I'm 50 turning 51 in July. All that talk about VCRs, TV channels, analog technology really brings me back. Atari 2600. That's what we were talking about. The one with the keyboard on it.
Yes.
Atari 2600, VHS beta, laser discs, cartoons on Saturday mornings and after school only.
Yep.
Those were the days.
What?
Do not start singing like that, please.
I can give you the Superman spiel.
Superman spiel?
Shush. Yes.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman. Yes, Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Yes, Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. Thank you.
Oh, if that don't get comments, nothing will.
Wow.
Windsor Will says, hey man, I'm still running my 92 F-150, 5.8, 351. Windsor, it just won't die. I'll drive it all the time in Wisconsin or New Jersey. The rust, the salt will definitely kill it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the because up until the Expedition, that's why you guys bought the short wheelbase Expedition, because it'll fit in the garage.
Yeah.
But also, when I was a kid, number one, the Suburban wouldn't fit in the garage. The Ford truck wouldn't fit in the garage. Plus, Grandpa's Chrysler was in the garage because he lived here and had his own car. That's why your Datsun survived as long as it did, because it was garage kept. Yeah. But the Ford was in the street. The Suburban was in the street. It wasn't until the Expedition you finally got an SUV in there, and you got the short wheel. Plus, the windows, the mirrors fold in.
Right.
So it fits in the way, because the door isn't wide enough, and it's short enough to fit where the Chrysler was, and it just barely fits.
Oh wow! The folks at the joint
base Cape Cod are still talking about Delirious Striker 3000. Stay safe, health. Remember I told you that like impromptu meet and greet because the older guy was a dispatcher and he recognized the truck from the surveillance.
Yeah.
And he came running down and they gave me like shirts and hats. They gave me a ride in that Bush truck and yeah, that's Joint Base Cape Cod. Like Joe McNeil, matter of fact, Joe McNeil, he's the dispatcher. He's the one that recognized that. So that was very cool. So Joe, this is my mom, obviously, if he's commenting here. So yeah, this is my mom. So let's see here. Can your mom do the intro to the old Car 54? Where are you? No.
That'll get you in trouble,
Road
right,
Train
Dad?
5910 says now do Batman.
Dad.
Oh, I missed Joe McNeil earlier here. He goes, hi, Steve. Hi, Mom. having met your son just, so he's talking directly to you. Having met your son just recently, I say good. You done good. He turned out really great. Steve, I got a ride in the Striker 1500 the other day. So there was a shorter truck. The 1500 is a 2-axle, that big fire truck.
Yeah.
It's a 2-axle one. The 3000 is a 3-axle one, so it's bigger and heavier. I delivered the 3000. The 1500 had arrived just prior, like a few days before I had got there. So he's talking about he got to ride in the other fire truck. I guess not the one that I had brought them, but there's a period of time where it takes once they get them to actually get the license plates and the insurance and all that for them. So that's what he's talking about. Those big fire trucks we do. Yeah, so that turned into a huge thing there. That was cool though, man. They showed all the, they had me inside and showed me. They even brought, I told you, they brought Orwell inside, washed Orwell in the firehouse.
Yeah.
Like, what? Because they were getting all the road grime off the Striker I brought in.
Yeah.
Because, it was rainy, so it was dirty. So like, well, hey, we got the wash buckets and hoses ready to roll. So they had these big fire hoses hitting down the truck. So that was awesome. Why is it stuck? It's not, or are we at the end?
We're at the end. Love it.
There we
Grandma, great, amazing Superman fan.
Okay, Willie's Pub says hi from Sarasota, Florida. Then Richie Onai says love it. Grandma's great Superman fan and amazing. Be safe. So here's a good one for you. Easter related.
Easter related.
You were telling stories about the ball.
The ball.
So
Yeah.
explain that whole thing, because that's like the running joke around here.
Well, it's a joke, but it really isn't, sort of. I was told as I was growing up on Good Friday, which I don't really know what was good about it, but Good Friday, during the hours of 12 noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, supposedly when Jesus was on the cross, we weren't allowed to play outside, bounce balls, because Christ was dying at that point. So we had to just do nothing, because we really couldn't do anything on Good Friday between 12 and 3. Not that, it wasn't Eastern Standard Time or Daylight Savings, but that's what we were told, and that's what we had to do as kids.
So you weren't allowed to bounce ball in the house.
Not outside, not anything. You weren't allowed to play.
So
No fun.
So you were telling me, it was like, don't bounce the ball between noon and 3.
I was joking by then because it seemed dumb, and I don't do dumb. So, I'd say it, but I'd never.
So yeah, that was.
Didn't.
But you guys they were like much more hardcore when you were a kid.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Hey, I went to Catholic school, grammar school, Catholic high school.
Was that when they would whip you with and hit you with a ruler
Oh yeah,
right on your knuckles?
yeah.
You ever get hit?
Yeah.
How many times?
I don't know.
Can't imagine my mom getting whacked in the school.
What'd you
by a
do?
nun.
I don't know. Probably talked when I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, Dad, let me tell you,
One's
speaking
the
of that,
family.
Dad's got. Let me tell you, that's a funny thing too, because now we've gone completely where the kids are completely out of control
Oh,
in
boy.
school sometimes. And I remember thinking, like, when I was a kid, like, wait a minute, they hit you? Like,
Yeah.
you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
No,
I'm
not
like,
then. You just took it.
that's why I was like telling a story. It was funny when I said, "Hi, hate him, Miss Panic." And in truth, I actually kind of feel bad about that because one of my,
I don't.
remember John McCulley?
Yeah.
Me and John McCulley are cool now because he drives truck too, so we're cool.
Oh, okay.
But back then we weren't so cool. In fact, he caught my wrath a few times. Maybe I shouldn't have said his name on the internet, but we're cool, so we're not. But he was talking trash about you one time,
Okay.
and I came across the table and chased
Well,
him
he
around
was mad
Applegate
at me.
School.
He was mad at me because I wouldn't allow you to go for detention unless.
No,
you did-
that's Mark Davis.
But I wouldn't allow, if you had a fight with somebody in school
And they get detention for it.
and you'd get detention, I wouldn't allow you to stay for detention until the other
Well,
kid.
we'll get to that.
went
We'll get to that
over.
story. So Matt, remind me to get back to the Mark Davis story. So John McCulley, he talked crap about you. He said something about you, and I wasn't having that. So I jumped over the table to beat his ass, and he ran away, and we ran around the cafeteria. So finally, I jumped over another table and tackled him right in front of the stage, and I started wailing on him. So on an upswing, I went to hit him, and Miss Panic bent over to hit me, to grab me. Now, Miss Panic used to be my math teacher, but now was the vice principal of the school. So on my upswing to hit McCully in the head, like for the 9th time, Miss Panic's head was right there. So I came up, bing, knocked Miss Panic in the head. She starts running. I don't know who. It was one of the male teachers. The next thing I know, I knew I hit something. I didn't know all I was trying to do was, pummel McCully. And I knew I hit something with my elbow. I had no idea who or what it was. And next thing you know, not long after that, I just levitate off of McCully because now there's a bigger male teacher just grabbed me and just lifted me up and set me down. It was like, Mr. Panic's office. Okay, fights broke up. Sit in the office. So when you're sitting facing Mr. Panic's desk, there's like 2 phones directly in front of me on the wall. And Mr. Panic comes in with an ice pack on her chin from the nurse. And she's like, you hit me? I'm just like, I did? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you got the vice principal.
But I'm like, so I didn't mean to, but that's the way I was thinking. So, and I'm looking at the phone. This is not the first time I'm in this office for the same problem. Bald head. I grew up at the time, always picked on, and Mom always taught me there's a point where you have enough, you got to defend yourself. And just like today, it's not the bully they deal with, it's the kid that defends himself against the bully that catches the trouble.
Not if I'm your mom.
So my mom was like my lawyer. So I'm just like looking at the phone. I'm like, I don't remember what I said, but I'm like, I can remember thinking like, I don't know what to tell you, but there's the phone, call my mom. So she's like, I don't know what to do with you. If I call your mom, she's just gonna pick you up and you don't learn anything. And I'm like, yeah, I learned that if I get in a fight, I get to go home. Like I beat the kid's ass and I go home. Win. Mom's not even mad at me. She might be a little bit pissed off that she had to come and get me, but beyond that, it's just like taking me for a ride in the car.
What did I always tell you? Even if you're going to lose a fight, and you know you're going to lose it because the other kid is so much bigger or whatever, but you have to walk away from the fight hurting somebody, the other guy.
Even if you lose, make them have a price to pay.
That's right. There's always a price to pay. He can't just walk away unscathed. He's got to feel the pain. Whether you're on the ground doing it, doesn't matter. You've got to make them feel the pain.
So Mark Davis was high school.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that ended. I don't think Mr. Panic called my mom because she figured out that
It wasn't going to do it.
it's not going to accomplish anything. So Mark Davis, me and him are not cool. Like, I met him at our high school reunion and I was drinking. He left early.
I love that story.
So, but now I'm twice the size. Okay, so now it's like, uh-oh, he's drinking and he's twice the size of me now. Maybe I ought to leave. He did. So, of course, I shook his hand. Hey, how you doing? That won't do it to you, but he knew I was there. So, anyway, long story short, he used to bust my chops all the time in math class. Little stuff, like throwing papers at me, spitballs, whatever, spitballs. Really?
Do they do that anymore?
Well, they did when I was.
Oh yeah, they still do that.
They would throw.
You bought like when you go to lunch, you get a straw from the packet, because it's like a little packet of all your utensils.
Yeah.
So you'll take a straw and you'll take the napkin and you'll just spit them across the cafeteria. That's funny, because like you'll hit the complete wrong person. There's been fights over that. Like you'll hit the wrong person because you aimed poorly, and now he's up and you're getting your ass beat because you hit the wrong person.
Yeah.
So. I'd go after him because it was just like, okay, there's a point where enough's enough. Because like the teacher would not stop the bully from doing crap to you, but if you stopped him from doing crap to you, your ass was in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'd go after him, and here we go again. Now we're in high school, so we had 2 different vice principals, and I kind of weird. It was like I was supposed to deal with one, but I kind of dealt with both. in a weird way for whatever reason. So, I'd get in a fight, and they're like, okay, we're going to give you detention. Well, the next thing you know, me and Mark Davis are in detention. It happened to be the same classroom, like the same room where detention was. And Davis would do the same crap with me, and I would beat his ass again. And then I remember coming back into school the next day, and the vice principal, I think it was Mr. J, was like, or Mr. Mag, it was Mr. J and Mr. Mag. And they were like, Festrate, you're not learning anything. I'm like, I'm not in detention to learn anything. Mark Davis is in detention because I'm trying to teach him the lesson. I'm only doing my time. Like, I'm not here to learn anything.
Yeah,
like, I'm the one teaching.
Who's the one that got angry at me because...
Well, Davis got a note from his mom saying because he got beat up, he doesn't need to be in detention. So then I got detention, he didn't, and then you were like, no, we can't have them. So we have detention at the same time, we'd still fight. So it was like I was doing like detentions like 2 weeks after the fight. Like it was stupid. It was like, so Mark Davis would get detention first, and then I would get detention the next week.
That's what I insisted on. Because I didn't trust the school.
It takes
not
two to
give
fight.
Him...
Yeah, because the one time they made me do detention, and he got out his mom sent a note and left home. So you were like, you're not doing the detention until after he does. So I would do detention. Like I'd fight him this week. 2 weeks later, I'd be in detention. I would forget about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got one. Oh right, forgot.
But he had to go first, or I wouldn't approve of you having detention.
Yeah, detention. I.e., I did my homework in school rather than I did it at home. Okay,
Yeah.
And it was and you didn't care because it was an after-school activity bus that brought me home.
Yeah.
So you'd have to come and shuttle me around.
Yeah. But I wouldn't let you do it first.
Oh man, so that's Mark Davis and John McCulley. But yeah, me and John McCulley are pretty cool.
Comments about old days.
Let's see here.
They're calling you very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
those. Catholic school victim here from 76 to 87 until I got kicked out. LOL. Last 2 years of high school were fun after that. That was Gladiator 07-19. Oh man, that's crazy. The nuns made my mother kneel on rice in the corner for an hour. That's Rich Schultz. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man.
Good
Road Train 59. I'm going backwards with the messages, by the way. Road Train 5910 said with a cane, not a ruler.
No, we didn't have the canes. We just had the rulers.
Let's see here. Somebody else says, God bless you. Greetings from the Netherlands. We're still going backwards here. Chris Soar said, you drink coffee, Steve? Never seen that. Well, usually I do lives at night, and I switch over to scotch.
If you watch his first ever video, it's him introducing the channel at our dinner table with a coffee in hand.
That's a very, very, very
That's the first video you've ever put out
yeah.
on this channel.
Which is an introduction to the channel. Which is a lie anyway, because the channel totally changed.
1 hour 18.
Because it used to be only cars. Catholic school, oh, you read that already. Oh boy, high school fights. Remember pushing guys into lockers face first? No, I didn't do that. I was usually the guy that got bullied. But
Yeah.
I fought back. And after a while, they started figuring out maybe just leave me alone. Davis was just a hard-headed one that couldn't quite get the message. But once he finally got the message, it was just kind of like, leave me alone, go along, get along. No real big deal. But it took a while. But I lost my hair at 8 years old, then it grew back. And then I lost my hair again. The only reason it grew back because you were like, we're not going to get into the details, but you would not take no for an answer.
No.
So you found a doctor that could get my hair to grow for a little while, and then it didn't stay.
The doctor had you using minoxidil before it was approved by the FDA.
Allegedly.
Well, right.
You didn't take no for an answer.
I didn't believe that this could be there. No. There's no such thing as an 8-year-old not having hair. Not doing it. So I'd drive you into Manhattan in my little Datsun.
Just don't say the doctor's name.
I don't even remember the doctor's name.
I do. Good. So I lost my hair again in 8th grade, and then I started wearing a wig, which that was a mistake. We should have never done that.
No,
but who knew? So when I went to the Air Force, I gave up with the wig,
Yeah.
and then
that
I
was-
just stayed bald ever since.
That was another funny story.
Which one?
Went in the Air Force, so you had your cap on. You had to get like a go bag together with shampoos and deodorant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that you had to have certain things in your bag. So we were worried like if you'd get in trouble if you didn't have the right stuff. So we were like literally packing me shampoo because that was on the list.
But we did the
The hell I need shampoo for?
the little tiny.
So
box.
mom bought, to be compliant with the list, she bought like, you get like the hotel or the airplane, like the littlest, ittiest, bittiest shampoo thing just to technically have shampoo. And then what sucked in boot camp, like they would kind of figure out how long you were there because as you were there longer, the more privileges you were allowed to have, right? So like I'm allowed to walk around base because we already got out. We're just waiting for the bus to take us to tech school. I look like I just got there.
Right.
Like they literally just buzzed me yesterday. So I had a couple of training instructors, TIs in the Air Force, like kind of drill instructors, stop me and like, what are you doing? I'm like, gave my reporting statement, gave them my form 341 because you have to have 2 341s on you in case you were bad. You had to carry your own detention slips. So but you had them date it and which flight you were. So like flight number, like with anyway, so I don't know what they call it another. Well, I do know one, but we're not going to get into that. So, you had your date and your flight number, so they were able to figure. Oh wait, you're 484. You guys just graduated. Why do you have any hair? I'm like, sir, I don't have hair. Like eyebrows, lashes, nothing. Like my body doesn't grow any hair. As you were.
Yeah.
But I got stopped a few times.
Didn't you get yelled at when you first got there? Like, what are you doing? You preparing?
I still had to pay for a haircut.
Wait, you have to pay for the haircut?
Yeah, so it was like $12. So you had to pay your $12, get your haircut, and the guy just dragged it.
Probably didn't even turn it on.
But they're like, you still getting a haircut? What do you mean, a smart ass? Like, sir, I don't have any hair. I don't grow hair. I never will grow hair, probably. that was not. That's how it went for me. So, yeah.
You have to pay $12. Right?
Yeah, those were the good old days. Get a beating at school in a day and then get another one when you got home. The same offense. Learn quickly is just best to behave. Yeah, but I was the one bullied, so I didn't have to worry about getting my ass beat at home for being bad.
No.
I was sticking up for myself. In fact, you'd probably get in more trouble around here for not sticking up for yourself than just, if you just took it, you'd get in trouble here.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, you stood up for yourself. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. My grandpa, your dad. I was real little. And the school bus stop was down the block. This is when the school bus stop was towards the bigger
Perry.
road.
Perry?
Well, that's Mayberry over here, and then one more. That's like not Main Street, but for lack of a better term, we'll call it Main Street. And no, it was by the station, the pumping station.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Grandpa, I was getting my chops busted by the older kids in school. I was in like Mill Lake,
Yeah. Could be.
and Grandpa would think the Chevelle, maybe. I don't really remember.
It might have been his car.
It might have been the Chrysler.
Yeah.
Well, 80. No, it would be because it was 81. So yeah, it was
Yeah, now
the
it's probably
Chrysler.
working.
Yeah, so it was the Chrysler. You were working, Dad was working, so Grandma and Grandpa lived here. So I had some problems with the older kids. So Grandpa didn't drive me to the bus stop and let me sit in the car. So he drove me down the block. He had me get out of the car and walk to the bus stop, stand there.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the car was a block away, parked on the side of the road. So you got a picture of this big silver 81 Chrysler LeBaron. That's the boxy LeBaron. Looked like kind of like a box Caprice, but a Chrysler LeBaron. Typical, Grandpa. I mean, Grandpa looked straight out of movies from like any gangster movie. That was just Grandpa. So he's sitting in the car watching me. And the reason for this was he wasn't going to allow me to hide from the kids. He wanted me to deal with the kids. And the kids are on him out, says, oh, hey, you're over here standing right, because he told me stand right next to him. And I'm like, Grandpa, they're going to beat me up. He's like, no, they're not. Not with me sitting here. So I'm like, but I don't want to stand next to them, Grandpa. He's like, do what I tell you. Stand right next to them. Right in the group. So I do what my grandpa tells me to do. I stand right in a group, and I'm nervous. And they're like, "Oh, hey, you got a big stones on you now with standing right with us with your grandfather standing right there." And I said to them, "Yeah, but you guys ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
Get you after school." I was worried. I didn't know that. I got off the bus, same spot.
Grandpa.
The Baron is sitting right there.
Yep.
So Grandpa knew. He did not warn me that was coming. I guess he wanted to see what my reaction would be. He's like, "Okay, we'll get you off the bus." Got off the bus, and there sat the Chrysler. And I just walked my ass home. I had to walk past the car.
Right.
He wouldn't let me in the car. He told me to walk home. He sat there and he watched the boys see what they would do. And then he fired up the car, and a little while after I walked in the door, I heard the car pull up, and he came in, and he looked at me, he says, "I bet they're not going to mess with you anymore." And they never did. Because at that point, they always knew you never know where that Chrysler is going to be.
That's right.
And I didn't know that the Chrysler was going to be there to pick me up either. He didn't pick me up, he just guarded me. And at that point, I had that little bubble of, I'm just calling it invincibility, but they knew not to mess with me. And at that point, I learned there's power behind being big. There's power behind sticking up for yourself. And my grandfather made sure that, like I say, I made the joke that I'd be in more trouble for not sticking up for myself than if I did. And Grandpa taught me to stick up for myself by just walking into the group.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and I remember that well.
And the same attitude is with you now. You don't
never
back
changed.
away.
Never take a backward step.
You should tell the story about the peanuts at the grocery store. Since you talked about Grandpa Al.
Oh, God, that's
Since you're on the topic of great Grandpa Al.
a funny story. It's not a good story, but it's a funny story.
It's funny. It's a good story.
Pathmark's out of business. They can't complain. So, local grocery store was Pathmark. And other than bread, eggs, and deli meat, that's where all the food came from.
Yeah.
So, when I was really little, same Chrysler, Grandpa would drive us to Pathmark to do the grocery shopping. Us meaning me, Tanya, and Grandma. So Grandpa, part of the car, come in, and this was for those of you guys from Jersey. This was the Pathmark on Route 18 in East Brunswick. So we would walk around. Me and Grandpa kind of walk around while Grandma did the shopping, and Tanya was sitting in the car.
Yeah.
And me and Grandpa were bored, so we were walking around. Grandpa believed in leakage. So he would get like a pack of, later on, he would get like a pack of deli meat. This is long after this, but he would get Grandpa was the guy who would get a pack of deli meat, eat the meat out of the package, and then like stick the package in the shelf somewhere. Leakage. It's not stealing, it's leakage. So there was like an old whiskey barrel full of peanuts in the produce section.
Unshelled peanuts.
Right.
Oh, you have the unshelled peanuts.
No, it was shelled. You had to bust it open and get shells.
Right.
Okay.
So there was a scoop in there. You're supposed to scoop it and put it in a bag and pay for it by the pound.
Yeah.
No. So Grandpa walked past. He grabbed a handful. Now Grandpa was reasonably healthy, but walking around for a length of time, he would get winded. So he would grab a handful and start walking. He would hand me a peanut. I would crack them, and I'm like, "What do I do with the shells, Grandpa?" I just don't want to grab.
Yeah.
So I would crack open a peanut. Now I'm not really thinking. I'm like a kid. I'm a little kid. This isn't stealing. Grandpa gave it to me.
Yeah.
So what do I do with the shell? Throw it on the ground. I take the shell, throw it on the peanut.
Left a little crunch trail.
I put my hand I put my hand out. He gave me another one. After a while, his hand would be empty.
Yeah.
So guess where we go?
Back
to the barrel. After a while, Grandpa got tired of walking around. So we just stood there.
Making a big mess on the floor.
No, there was a point to where we were now throwing the shells back in the barrel. So I had to dig. You had to dig through the shells to get peanuts. There's so many shells on the top. After a while, but so I got a picture of my grandfather standing there. He's standing there, I'm standing there, and this dude in a white shirt and a black tie, like the manager. And he looks at me. I'm like, "Why are you looking at me? Grandpa's right there." So he's looking at me.
Grandpa gave it to me.
"Who told you can eat them?"
Him?
Him? Sorry, Grandpa, I dimed you out. There's no pressure exerted. I just how old? God, Tanya must have been like 3 or 4. So
Yeah.
I'm like 6, 7. So this is how that ends, right? Grandpa gets ejected out of the store. Perfect. He can sit in the Chrysler and listen to his music. He'll put some Sinatra tapes on. He's happy.
Yeah.
Where do I go? Grandma, who considers to chew, who starts to chew my ass. And I'm like, can I go sit in the car with Grandpa? No.
That's when you just walk out and go sit next to Grandpa.
No.
No. My grandma would beat my ass for that. Oh, you listen to your grandparents. And I remember asking Grandma, how come both of us are punished, but Grandpa's in the car listening to music and I'm in here getting yelled at?
He got ejected.
Well, because.
He got ejected a couple of times.
Oh, he got thrown. Well, the law as he got older, towards when his last years of driving, his mental illness from the surgery started getting worse. So he got much worse. But that was the story we just told with the peanuts. That was just Grandpa being Grandpa. But later on, it got pretty bad. But yeah, that was his Grandpa being Grandpa. There's no Pathmark wasn't going to go under for stealing a bag of peanuts.
Yeah.
But that's oh my God. Gladiator 0719 said Italian moms are just like Cuban moms. Who knew? Love it. Make them hurt. LOL.
You betcha.
I'll tell you what. That's one thing I learned over the years because a good friend of mine years ago was Cuban, and I had a lot of Puerto Rican friends and a lot of Mexican friends.
Yeah.
Italians are not very different from Cubans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans.
Not when it concerns family.
Very family oriented, and usually very religious.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot in common, you know.
Oh yes.
Right. So
You don't mess with an Italian. You don't mess with a Hispanic. You just don't, unless you want to fight the family. End of story.
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's. But yeah, Gladiator. That's
The
their.
world was a better place.
I learned that really quick as I got older and started hanging out in trucking with other cultures, and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys are just like me. Like your mom sounds very familiar. I think I grew up with a woman just like that. So yeah, that's very true. So go back on some of the list here. Let's see here. Can I get a big what's up from my friend Dave's Lee Boomhammer? Okay, what's up? I don't even know. I guess. Dale Leonard says I have to leave. Bye, Mom. Bye, Steve from Dale in Cleveland, Ohio. So yeah, we're going back here some. Hey, Steve, love Matt. Listen to old schools. Oh, have Matt listen to old school Dragnet radio shows on YouTube. It'll blow his mind.
Dragnet?
Dragnet.
It's a cop show.
Oh.
Gladiator. Catholic school. Oh, we read that already. Catholic school victim. Oh boy, high school fights. I went back too far. Yeah. Congratulations, Mom. You raised a good son. It's David Dempsey. Taking lunch money, LOL. Protection money, LOL. Yeah, those good old days. Get a beating at school for the day. Oh, we read that. Misbehave. Okay, no, I was not behaving if I wasn't defending myself. Watch out for my dad. That was Road Train 5910. Hold on every day. You had to go with your mom. I just lost mine 8 months ago. Yeah. I remember losing grandma or grandpa, then grandpa, or grandpa and then grandma. Grandpa was like, thank God he finally passed because the suffering was done.
Yeah.
Grandma she got to the point where she was very pleasant, but you had the same conversation you had the same conversation 18 times within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was just a repetitive loop as she started losing it. But
I never got to meet great grandpa Al, but I do remember with great grandma France and where you are with her wheelchair.
Yep.
You used to sit there and drink her coffee and
And her
stuff.
machine was
the
right
picture I showed one time on the live stream home where she has her oxygen.
She hated taking pictures with that on.
But just like you sit next to me, I was sitting right next to her, and she had the oxygen in her nose. And just the same as you look so tiny compared to me was the same thing. But
She wasn't bigger than I was.
matter of fact, these chairs, this same spot right here, that picture was taken right here. So yeah, it was. But I miss my grandparents. They taught me a lot. So yeah, losing parents has to be like
It's-
very difficult.
Living with grandparents is a chore, but it's also a blessing because you learn things that you would never learn from days past and different ideologies, and it's just you lose so much by not being close to your family and your grandparents. They may be wacky sometimes, but that's them. You learn.
I didn't realize how much Grandpa had taught me over those years until after I started looking back, and I'm like, wow. Like, I often wonder, like, if he was intentionally trying to teach me things, or whether if that was just his version of conflict resolution, or like the thing with the Chrysler with the bus
Right,
stop.
right.
Like that's what the guys did in Brooklyn. You know, you watched over your guy, but you made him deal with it. You know, and Grandpa, if I wonder, like he was trying to teach me that, if he knew I'm going to show my grandson how to deal with this, or if that was just Grandpa just going to Grandpa mode,
Yeah.
being, you know,
Well, you were
a
the
guy from
first
Brooklyn.
grandson.
Right.
The
So
first grandchild, actually.
yeah, the very first grandkid, his very first grandkid.
Didn't your
so.
grandparents own the apartment building that you guys lived in when you were growing up?
Yeah, it was a four-family house, four-family brick house in Brooklyn, and 3 of the 4 families were family. There was one Jewish couple who lived on the upper floor, but they didn't bother anybody. It was nice. They were very pleasant. But the other 3 apartments in that building were family. It was my grandparents, us, and at one point it was my Uncle Dom and his family, and then he moved to Long Island, and my Aunt Rosie moved in with her 2 sons and her husband.
Kenny Spry said your grandpa was a wise, smart man. My grandfather was very street smart.
Yeah, he was the next best thing to a made man.
He was a good guy, and
Yeah.
he taught me well. So we could tell a story about somebody trying to get you and Grandpa where you guys cross the street quickly.
Yes.
So we're just going to refer to the bad guys as the bad guys,
Right.
and leave it be, because bad guys are bad guys regardless of what bad guys are.
Yes.
Bad guys are bad guys.
That's right.
And you guys were good guys because, well, you guys were good guys. So, good guys, bad guys, you know, cleaned up for you too. So, you guys are walking down the street.
See, Grandpa came with me to my first job interview because I didn't know Manhattan, and I was applying for a job in Manhattan, and so he.
Well, you
came
grew up
with
in
me.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn and went to schools in Brooklyn, and then I was going for a job interview, which I actually got on top of, I mean, really quickly, because I came from a Catholic high school, and at the time, the public schools were really not great, but the Catholic schools, you learned. If you graduated, you knew what you were doing. And so as soon as you go into these office buildings, they knew they had somebody who actually graduated and knew what they were doing from high school. So he came with me just for my own safety in Manhattan at the time.
This is when, approximately, year-wise?
Yeah,
Well, you're 18.
Yeah, right around 1968, I'm thinking.
Right.
And so he came with me, and on our way back to the train station after the interview,
68, by the way, of those that are not historians, 68 was probably the closest year you could describe 2020 up against, with all the problems of the summer of 2020.
right.
68 was less but similar.
I think, well, I was actually working a job in Manhattan when Martin Luther King died, and there were riots in Manhattan. A lot of the office buildings, the plate glass windows and everything were just destroyed. Not even really sure why, but
So 68 was that kind of a year. So
Yeah.
a year similar to what 2020 was. 68 was similar.
yeah,
So Grandpa was gonna watch you as you were going into a neighborhood you did not know.
right. So we were walking back to the train station to go home, and as we're walking down the street, Grandpa saw something that I never even envisioned. So we're walking, and then all of a sudden he grabs my arm and he goes, "Oh, look!" And he rushes me across the street to supposedly show me something. So I followed with him, and we got to the other side of the street, and he says, "Okay, now look at where we just came from." And in front of us were two bad guys, and behind us were two bad guys. And as soon as we crossed the street, they kind of pulled together and rounded the corner together. It was like an alleyway. And Grandpa said, that could have been us. The two guys in front of us and the two guys behind us would have closed in and herded us into the alley. And who knows what would have happened at that point. So he was very situationally aware of what was going on. I had no clue until he took me out of the situation and pointed it out.
So now, as a lady that grew up since then around Grandpa, to this day, you go to a restaurant to eat. Well, when you can finally go to a restaurant to eat in this state, or once you finally leave here. But when you were able to, back in the old days of somewhat having freedom in New Jersey, go to a restaurant, where did you sit?
Facing the door. Always with my back to the wall, facing the door. I want to see what's coming at me.
Grandpa taught you well.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's... Is your mom... Oh, well, here we go. Is your mom... I'll let you answer this because I already know. Is your mom a Yankees fan or an original Brooklyn Dodgers fan before the move to LA, of course?
I wasn't a baseball fan at all. I was a football fan. I watched college football on Saturdays and professional football on Sundays. And you couldn't get me away from the TV for anything, actually. I once had a date wait for me for the game to be over before I went out. And my mother entertained him because he was an Italian from Italy, and my mother just sat in the kitchen with him while I watched football with my father. And she just had a good old time talking Italian with somebody who understood him.
And you were Giants fans.
We were Giants
fans.
Still
am, so I don't watch NFL anymore at all.
I haven't either lately. In fact, this year I actually saw the Super Bowl. Last year I didn't. But I had no idea who was even playing because I hadn't watched it. Because they turned me off. The NFL.
Road Train 5910 asked what was going on in 68. Well, 68 was, like you mentioned, I'm pretty sure 68 was the year Martin Luther King was killed.
Right around that time.
And also, Detroit had a major riot later on that year in 68. Big
Is
one.
Is that the
Watch how you discuss it, yes.
with the trucker?
No.
Oh.
No, that's the 92
okay.
LA riots. That's Reginald Denny.
Oh, okay.
That was when they acquitted the cops of beating Rodney King, and the riots sparked from there. That's why better watch your ass nowadays with the Minnesota trial going on.
Yeah, I know. That's
If they quit those guys, forget it, you're done. Or those guys, they quit that one guy.
They're gonna riot anyway.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
We'll see. Just watch your ass, because that verdict's coming reasonably soon.
Yes.
Joseph Jackson says, greetings from Appleton, Wisconsin. Well, I ain't that far from home. Gladiator 719 says, put that big strong arm around your mom and give her a big kiss on the cheek. Those are the best things about being a son. Cherish that. Absolutely.
Cute.
It's so small.
All right, now arm wrestle.
Please.
Grandma go boom, right over the table.
Ay.
And that's what Grandpa used to do to me. Here, okay, here's my pinky, and I'd have to
Fight him with the
arm
pinky.
wrestle, and he'd have his pinky out, and he'd still beat me.
Oh boy, here we go. Mom's right. They will riot either way. You might be right. We'll see. We'll find out. LA had riots in the 60s too. Oh yeah, there were some bad ones. all I'll say about my comment about the riots, past and future, you're learning real quick that maybe it's just like my grandfather was very street smart and he protected himself. There are points in it, there are times in this country, and this is not political, but there are times in this country where you have to defend yourself because not anybody has the ability to defend you. So
or
you
the
have to
willingness.
so you have to do it yourself. So that's my recommendation to any family, regardless of how you do it. You may have to defend yourself, and for sure, be street smart. Walk around knowing that somebody, a stick-up man, anybody could be behind you or in front of you, or like Grandpa always did. Know your surroundings.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's see here. Pinky fights. Balin Maverick Legacy's got to hit the road. Stay blessed, y'all. Well, you can always catch the rest of it, after the fact. They keep them up. So glad to have you, no doubt about it. What year did I move to Wisconsin?
2009.
Mel Wallenhorst said that. Well, I moved. Well, after I lived here and I was married and had my sons, I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. After my divorce, obviously the ex-wife kept the house for a little while until the bank wasn't getting their money, because no matter how much they paid in child support, Holly couldn't make a mortgage payment, so the bank took that, even though we sold it. But there's a whole story with that. She'd rather, there was a thing. Anyway, so lost the house. So I was in and out of the truck, staying here while I visited my kids. We talked about that earlier. I would pick up the boys and bring them here and hang out with Grandma and Grandpa with my sons. That's why my sons know Grandma and Grandpa so well. They were always here. So the yard was in Wisconsin and home was here, but I set up my shop and was in, well, actually no, I rented a house in Pennsylvania again for a little while until the recession of 08 or 09. Actually, trucking was in recession Thanksgiving of 08. The rest of the country found out it was a recession probably February-ish of 09. But by Thanksgiving 08, I knew we were in deep, deep trouble. So I moved up to my shop in Wisconsin when I actually moved was May of 09. That's when I moved. Then we went from the first shop, which is by Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Then I moved up to the place I have now in Freedom, and I've been in Freedom since 2015. So that's how long I've been there. Harold Smith, being with mom is the best thing in life. Yeah, best, even better than that, is being with mom and dad. Dad's upstairs taking a nap. Well, I'm pretty loud. I guess he sleeps hard nowadays.
Yeah.
I might try to get a live stream done with Dad later on today, because usually me and Dad will sit up, have a couple of drinks, and shoot the crap. So we'll see if I can get Dad on the live stream later today too. That'd be kind of cool. Get Dad telling some stories. Dad's stories are very different stories, but they're equally as entertaining. Maybe I'll tease one. I'll get him telling about the steam train doing a burnout and the old coal drags.
Yeah.
So, been backing up here a little bit. Corey Mark says, hey, what's up, man? I've been watching your channel for quite a while. Devin and I liked it. I like the way that you drive and keep enough of them cameras going. Good stuff there. Appreciate that. I enjoy the channel now and enjoy that trucking. But now that you do, there's no punctuation in this. He's probably using like Siri or something. Yeah. And Siri, if he has an accent, Siri really gets lost. Baby, you are cool. And that Keystone Ice Anna Nemo girl, we love your. Man, I'm trying hard. I don't even know what we're talking about. Keystone Ice and a Nemo girl. That's got to be Siri. Gotta hit roads always. Pinky fights. Happy trail, Stephen. Mom, gotta go. My bike on the road. Finally warm enough here in Canada. Have a good one. Yeah, it's motorcycle weather getting on it. Mike Malloy says, I have an 84 Pete with the same engine, same trans, only single axle. I love your channel a lot. Is it the 352 or the 359? Which one you got there? Somebody said, cool, Mike. Enjoy watching your channel a while now. That's Mr. that's the caveman from Florida that I know. If he is, he would know. So, trying to think other stories. So we lived all these stories. I can't think of which ones are the entertaining ones or not.
Yeah.
So, the caveman says, nope, from the Netherlands. Oh, road train says you got 362. Oh, 362 question mark. Okay, that's the one guy that had the 84 Pete. So, trying to think. So, disciplining me.
Yes.
Let's just say you have a heavy hand.
Yeah, it was a chore.
One time you hit me.
Yeah, I went after you. And I was pummeling you.
No, you hit one time.
Well.
Although time I'm talking about the chair.
Yeah, I figured you were.
Yeah.
But I was pummeling you. And I swung a little too hard and knocked myself out of balance because you were just, standing there hunched over trying to protect yourself, even after you said, that doesn't hurt. So,
That don't ever tell your mom when she's whacking you. That doesn't hurt because she's going to hit you harder and faster and get really more mad.
or hit you with something besides your fists. So one time I was hitting you.
Forgot about that. I did say that. Didn't
Yeah. And I fell over backwards, and thank God there was a chair behind me.
The chair was a wheel around chair from my desk I would do my homework in.
Mm-hmm.
And she fell right into that chair and just landed, and the chair rolled across the room, and I started dying laughing.
Yeah.
That was the second mistake. Because she got off the chair, she regrouped her footing.
Uh-huh.
And then I caught the beating.
Yeah. And you weren't as big then as you are now.
No.
And then afterwards, anytime I started going after you, you would make sure that there was a chair behind me. And of course, just the fact that you put a chair behind me and with a smirk on your face.
Yeah, that would mellow it out
that
a
would
bit.
kind of.
Sam W says, hi, Mom. Sam W, he communicates with me often. He does the same stuff I do, but he's in England. He sent me a lot of pictures of his truck. They run all cab overs out there. They don't have the big long hoods like we do here.
Yeah.
So it's like in Europe they still do the cab overs. So he brought a truck like my old Peterbilt. One of my subscribers sent me, was talking to me about, he has a W900, which is like, remember my yellow Peterbilt with the long hood? W900 is a Kenworth version, same truck with the big long hood. He's in I think Sweden. And that W9 just gets all the looks out there because they use those little cab overs.
Right.
They have this big, long W900. Like, what in the hell is that? Well, out here we used to have cab overs all the time, and then we switched over to conventionals when we did away with overall length laws. So now there's hardly any cab overs on the road here. But in Europe, they're all over the place.
Did you want to, I don't know if that'll even show that picture of my grandma.
Oh, it'll show good. I'll show that. So we'll do the comments. We'll get this picture of great-grandma, my great-grandma.
Your great grandma.
How many black eyes did you get from your parents? None. No.
No.
I got slapped around, smacked, crap like that.
But not.
The occasional racing strike with a device that holds up your pants. But those were very rare. And honestly, it was like, my dad would smack you around. It was like, let's be honest, you smacked me around. It was kind of like, okay, well, you were a small person, so it didn't really affect me. It bothered me mentally that it did. Like, I pissed off my mom and I felt bad about that. No, my dad, on the other hand, he only smacked me around a handful of times because he was more effective in getting the point across.
Yeah.
But yeah, little cab overs, LOL. Just saying hi from Portage, Indiana. That's James Sontag. So I want to show you this picture that Grandma, my mom. I have kids, so your grandma.
Yeah.
Show you this picture. We don't know the year of this.
It's a black and white.
Do you know where she's standing in this picture? It's an old black and white photograph. I'll tease it so you guys don't see it yet. Whereabouts was that, do you know?
That could either be in Brooklyn in their backyard or up in the Catskills. Because they used to go up there in the summers.
So this is your
My grandma.
grandmother.
My mother's mother.
So this is Anna Cardinale.
Yeah.
with the Mac Daddy of barbecue grills.
Yeah.
Hold it like that. It's made out of like concrete block, and it's 3 layers tall.
At the front, yeah.
That's probably taken. I would guess the 50s. Everything that looks like that looks like 50s to me, but I'm wondering when that was taken. That was before Dad knew her.
Oh,
She
yeah.
looked a lot younger than Dad remembers.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that she had
There
a.
aren't many people who would remember that picture at all.
Jake Legg says there used to be overall vehicle length restrictions. Yes, that's why we had cab overs. If you wanted a long trailer, you had to have a short tractor. That's why. It also varied. I think the West Coast didn't have them as restrictive as the East Coast was. So if you were cross country or East Coast, you had to have a cab over. So if you wanted a long trailer, you needed a cab over. Yep, exactly right. Road train was like, whoa, look at that picture. So comments are slowing down, so rather than respond to them, we have to come up with our own stories now.
Yeah.
So that's where. But we've been at it for a while now. We've been at it for 2 hours, 155 minutes.
Wow.
We started it, so live streams are pretty cool. They do get long, but
Yeah.
it depends on how. But it's in the middle of the day, so it's like we only have 120 watching. I've had up to 500 watching at once. And that's the comments just nonstop. It's like, oh my God, you miss half of them. But yeah, I figured I got you here, and I still do have Daddy on there later on tonight, so I don't want to overdo it in one shot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so here we are. So yeah, so you had that big barbecue.
Again, we're all about food.
Speaking of food, because I seen video of this, finally, from Gerard Frisia. He gave the DVD of it. It was funny. The sad thing was, I saw a lot of pictures of my mom and my uncles, my aunt, when they were little. Problem was, I didn't get very good footage of, or pictures even, of my grandfather when he was younger, before I was born, obviously, because he was the guy behind the camera.
Right.
And asking my grandmother to work a video camera, the old 8mm, you had to wind them up and let them click, 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 as well. Grandma was not working this. And Grandma knew how to cook and clean and change curtains, not
She chopped
film.
everybody's head off when she tried to.
Oh, it
film
was
it.
terrible. So Grandpa never gave her a camera. She was terrible at it. And it's not like nowadays where, you could just delete it. Film costs money. So a shot that was no good, you still paid for it.
Yeah.
So there was very few pictures of Grandpa. However, when it was big family gatherings, Grandpa was the only one running around with a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody from other, in the family.
My aunt's husband, my father's sister's husband.
He had a camera.
Yeah.
And I seen some of these videos that were converted to DVD. So this was, you were a little girl.
Yeah.
So one of the scenes where they're in it looks like a basement.
Yeah, it is a basement in Brooklyn.
Right. And this huge table, just like the table we're sitting on here.
But it
Huge.
was a finished basement.
Right.
It was all tiles on the ceiling because my father's brother was a tile setter. So he had all different, spare tiles from when he had done a job or something. And the basement was a finished basement. At least half of it. And it was a pretty big basement. There was a kitchen area. And then there was a party area. And that's where we held our parties, in there.
I want to know where in the heck they got a macaroni bowl.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
yeah, I know.
You put 5 pounds of macaroni in this thing. I mean, what'd you do? Cook it in a 5-gallon bucket?
They had cauldrons.
Oh my God. I'm not kidding you. The bowl is this big.
I know.
Like you had to be a big man to pick up all that food.
We had enough big men to be able to carry all that.
Oh yeah. I remember looking at the scenes just on that. Now the lighting was terrible, so it was all dark. But for cameras of the day, you had to have 18 bazillion sun power.
Yeah, they used to
Hell,
have
camera power, and you have basically
a
the
whole bunch
sun.
of lights
Yep.
with almost like
But
big headlights.
the other problem is you fired up them lights, then the smoke,
Yeah,
because everybody smoked in those days, drove you nuts. Because Mom never smoked a day in her life.
right. I tried, I just couldn't inhale. Wouldn't do it.
So I smoke an occasional cigar, and see what I deal with. But
Well,
a lot less
he's
nowadays.
respectful in that he doesn't smoke in front of me.
Oh, used to sit out in the garage and smoke with Dad, and
Yeah, but
Dad quit smoking
yeah,
many years ago. But he would like to just be around and smell the cigar. He wouldn't smoke on it, but he would want to smell it.
yeah.
But unless the weather's perfect, he don't go outside too much now because he's almost dead now. He's like 74.
74.
Yeah. So he get cold when you're old. So
Yeah.
we gotta wait for the weather to be better to go sit outside. But when the weather's good, he'll sit out on the porch and hang out and stuff. So he used to sit in the garage in the chair. Now he prefers sitting on the front porch.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Sitting out there drinking with Dad. So what was the point? Oh yeah, so it was like all the food. It was just huge. There's
Yeah.
all the food that you guys had. God knows what holiday it was.
Could've
And there's
been-
Grandpa running around with you see video with him and his camera. And that's the amazing thing compared to nowadays. People go to the store nowadays in their pajamas.
Oh yeah.
And you see like these idiots out there, like they go to the football stadiums with like their shirtless, face paint, and all
Yeah.
that. Back in them days, guys would walk around. They wouldn't go out of the house without a suit and a tie. Like you go to a family gathering, it's hot as hell, and they're still wearing suits and a hat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, wow, like people actually dressed nice back in those days.
Yeah.
If anything, if we change anything in society, we need to go back a little bit to where people don't walk out of the house unless they look good.
Right.
You dress respectful. He's what Grandpa didn't have a lot of money,
No.
but he still had nice clothes to wear to go to family gatherings.
Yeah.
I remember you, little kid, what you look. There's got to be that other. Is that other picture up there?
No.
Little picture of you.
Yeah.
You're wearing a little dress standing next to Grandma and Grandpa
Probably.
from those days.
from
Matter of fact, probably the day that video was filmed.
that was somebody's anniversary or something.
So describe the scene of that old video, and I'll try to find that picture. I know it used to be on the refrigerator.
It must have been to have a party down the basement. It was like we celebrated confirmations, communions. When the kid turned, any of the children turned 1 year, they always had a big party, and that was part of it. That was a party for one occasion. If I saw the video right now, I'd probably be able to tell. But it was all the cousins, and when I was growing up, I had 50 some odd cousins, first cousins, not talking about their kids or their spouses. It was just first cousins. We had over 50, and then their families. It was just a huge party. But of course, everybody in those days smoked, and they would be holding a child on their lap and smoking at the same time, which nowadays is one of the good things that has come with modern science. People know that that's a bad thing to do. You don't smoke, and you don't smoke especially when you've got a child around, because that's just bad. It's not good for the child, it's not good for you. I don't know where it ended up, Steve.
Yeah, I'll give a quick look for it. That's a shame if I can't find it.
But that was somebody's anniversary, that party. Might have been my grandparents' 50th. And again, thanks to COVID. Might be in that, see that shoebox that you just passed in the other closet?
Shoebox.
Right there.
This one?
Yeah, there's stuff in there.
Yeah, I'll start looking through it off camera here. So, trying to think other cool stories. Oh man, it's memory lane just in these pictures. Holy crap! Yeah, they won't be able to see it, but I'll try to go through some stuff, get some old memories. That'll get us yapping to some old days of old. Oh man. That was a perfect idea, Ma, finding these pictures. That'll give content forever. This live stream is gonna go like 3 days long.
Yeah,
As you, that Grandpa was not doing so swell.
no.
And Tanya.
Tanya.
And you, with your chocolate. You got more strawberries than cake.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably took the candles off by then.
So this is. Remember we were talking about my grandfather. This is my grandfather. That's my mom. And that's my sister Tanya. In fact, if you pay close attention, you see look at the plug over my grandfather's shoulder. It's a different outlet now, but the plug's still there. That window behind my mom, well, both the live shot and the photograph, that's right here.
Blood pressure.
So that's that picture.
Guys, your grandma.
Yeah, intimate.
You look so young.
I was. At some point,
Less wrinkles.
if you get to be, I don't have wrinkles.
I said less wrinkles.
I don't. That implies that there are wrinkles.
Now, my grandfather was always a bit of a goofball. Uncle Jerry's house.
Yeah.
So that put that in front of the camera.
Is that my mother?
Your
No,
mother.
no,
Yeah, in the corner. I don't know if that was my mom.
I don't think so.
No.
No, my grandfather passed away long before I met your mom. I was.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I was still in school. Oh, looky there! I found it. There's the picture I was wanting to find, right there.
That was my grandparents' 50th anniversary.
Show the picture to him. Wow, that's your grandmother.
That's me. The
It's
little
hard
girl.
for the lighting.
We'll put your hand underneath it. So yeah, that's. Yeah, I was able to get it maybe a little better. Lighting is not the best for a dark black and white.
Yeah.
But you can see how much you needed a flash in those old days.
Yeah.
So that's trying to make it so the glare goes away. That's my grandfather, my grandmother, and my mom. So the little girl in that picture, you're looking at her right here at 71.
You didn't grow much taller.
You don't get any food today.
What?
No macaroni and clams for you.
No, my favorite. That and stuffed cow. You missed me. You should have said the 3.
Chrissy,
Because I love them
Nikki,
too. So I'll fight Sean and Dad to the death for those.
Matthew,
Wait, where's
Carbonaro.
me?
That's me.
Oh, that's the Nikki with the wood.
Yep. That's when I hold Tanya a bunch of wood. Oh, that's Nick.
I've changed a lot since freshman year.
And there's one
Look
here
at
with you
that.
with the Easter Bunny. You were pretty tiny.
Yes.
That is wow. They used to hang
Carl
up here
kids.
with the other photos.
I had out of pictures, but we found the one we were looking at with you. Yeah, you're in there with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, it used to hang up here.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So put them pictures back in that box, please.
We'll do, Dad.
So another funny one. So back in the day, videotape cameras were like, giant bazookas.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's
Uncle
still-
Jerry had the one.
Yeah, the
It-
giant battery.
Yep, it literally had a car battery, okay, to run it. Big tripod, car battery to run it all, and a VCR, a top loader, but it was smaller. That because the camera didn't have its own thing in it, it was separate, okay.
Yes.
So in this very kitchen here, one day we were doing.
Some holiday.
I've got Uncle Jerry has got to get that video modernized so we could do something with that. Cousin Louie, remember?
Yeah.
Grandpa was still around. He was singing.
Yeah.
I still to this day I can't hear a Deste Fidelis without crying
Me
because
too.
he could sing it in Latin.
He taught me how to sing it in Latin.
Right, and I cannot hear that song without crying because I miss him so much. Both ways, he was singing it both ways too,
Yeah.
and that was like his song that he would sing
Right.
Christmas time. So we were over here by the stove and singing family Christmas carols. Oh, it's all piled in that one little corner there.
Yeah.
And little Louie,
Comes
Cousin
in
Louie.
and says,
hey you guys,
"You're making
hey,
me sick."
you're making me sick. Come on, just ignore him. Oh my God, we should have sent that in America's Funniest Home Videos. Good God, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
It wasn't so funny at that time, but it was hilarious later on. But yeah, Uncle Jerry has all the videotape from all of those days of old. Let's see here. So we'll get back to the comments here. I'm sure we got a few more.
Grandpa might be coming down soon.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if he is or not. Just no.
So back to the whole cab over thing. Okay, if you're on longer trails, you had to have a cab over. Greetings from Germany. Love your videos. That's ENGL. What do you think about a Pete 372 cab over? 372s, I think those were the Darth Vader like football helmet cab overs. I did not like the look of them now, but then again, we used to laugh at your Datsun, and now I want one just like it to put a small block in it or an LS. So I didn't like those cab overs then, but I kind of like them now. They're a more aerodynamic version of Orwell's what they were.
Yeah.
They look like a big football helmet. Or if they were black, they look like a Darth Vader helmet.
It's funny because when we used to drive you up to the high school, depending on if I was driving the Suburban or if I was driving the Datsun around those S-turns by the high school.
Yeah.
You never could understand at that time why it took longer when we were driving the Datsun compared to the, it would be quicker driving
with the Datsun
than the Suburban.
Suburban couldn't do the S-turns on Prineville Road. Nowadays, they straighten them up, I think, but the S-turns were pretty wicked. Plus on Matchaponics.
Right.
I remember Matt Richards. Oh, that's a story. Matt Richards was driving Stark's Corvette, and it was raining, and we got. Hey, Richards knew what he was doing. He got her straightened up, but that was a S-turns, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But yeah, had the S-turns on Matchaponics to get through with the big old. This is an '89 Suburban 2-wheel drive. It was they turn the wheel, then a truck leaned, and then it turned kind of truck, right?
Yeah.
And the Datsun was a lot more sporty.
Right.
But it had no power.
No, but it took the turns a whole lot better, so...
Oh, yeah, wait, nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was...
Until you started driving, you didn't realize the difference between the two.
Oh, yeah. This Datsun didn't have the stones to tow anything.
No.
Sam W. says, hope you all had a good Easter weekend. Absolutely. Easter with... Any holiday with family. I mean, I'm wearing out cars. I've always done that for forever.
Yeah.
Because we've always come here for Thanksgiving and Christmases or sometimes we went over Tanya's back in the day.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I drove Grandma around, my grandma, your mom. I drove her around her last Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
In the white Cadillac. Oh, let me get back to that. Let me tell that story.
Yeah.
That was a great story. So, at the time, I still have that car. I had a 90 or 91 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. And my grandmother was in a nursing home about, how far was that? 20, 30 minutes drive from here? Howell, New Jersey.
Was she in the nursing home or the assisted living place by then?
It was still assisted living.
Yeah.
She didn't have a stroke yet.
No.
No, she did have a stroke. But she was still in assisted living. Maybe it was the nursing. Maybe it was nursing home. It was nursing home, right? Because we used to have to fight with them to get the oxygen tanks to get out of there, and then lost my train of thought. Yes, it was a nursing home, and I couldn't believe the amount of people that stayed.
Right.
So I come in from driving on the road, busted my ass to get home to at the time I was renting in Pennsylvania, and I parked the Peterbilt. And I got out of the Peterbilt, fired up my Cadillac, cleared the snow off of it, and then drove in for Thanksgiving. That was very early. But okay, I knew me after driving all night and got home. Got home at like 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I knew if I took a nap, it'd be the end of me. So I was like, all right, just hulk up, stay up, and then go get Grandma. So now I'm in the car. I don't have to worry about hours of service or nothing. I'm in the car. So I got in the car, fired it up, and drove to the nursing home in Howell, New Jersey. To roll up too early, actually. I rented the car through the car wash. Then I came to pick Grandma up, and I came rolling in. And I said, hi, I'm here to pick up Francis Carbonaro. It's like, okay. He goes, all right, you need the oxygen tanks. Because the problem was, we worried about if the car broke down or if anything, traffic, anything. we had to have grandma with the oxygen. So the oxygen tanks were small and they didn't last long. So I'm like, guys, I'm not hooking this up to my oxyacetylene torch, okay?
Yep.
So if we don't use them, we're gonna bring them back. But I don't want to be stuck in traffic and call the ambulance just to shuttle me an oxygen tank because the old lady ran out of oxygen. So give me extra freaking tanks. So anyway, boy, that's another story. So, but you can see it was very annoying to argue with these people.
Oh yeah.
So pull a Cadillac up right in the front door, walk in. I'm here to pick up Frances. We got to get her dressed and get her ready. Okay, so I'm waiting, and bring me in. So, Steven, you here to come get me? Yeah. So, I said, Grandma, you're not even dressed. She's like, you know what time it is? I go, Grandma, come on, time's a wasted. So I help her because I helped finish feeding her, and she was embarrassed. She had a stroke, and her whole right side, she couldn't do anything with. Her right arm is completely just floppy. There was nothing there. So she started having to get used to eating with her left hand, which is still a little clumsy. So she would get aggravated. You can see she'd get aggravated. So I would pick up the spoon and help feed her oatmeal. And she's like, it's embarrassing feeding. You're not embarrassing, but she's like, you're feeding me. I'm like, Grandma, how many years you fed me? I go, but I'm not changing diapers. So you're gonna have to. But, she fed me, changed my diapers, so I figured at least I could do the favor. So I helped her feed her, and she was like, open the drawer, and I opened up the drawer, touched her hand and clothes out so she could see what she wanted to wear that day. So she found out what she wanted to wear. I gave it to the nurse because I'm like, all right, Grandma, there's limits. You do that. That's what you ladies do. So they got her dressed, put her, helped her out, get her in her wheelchair, wheeled her out to the car. I put her, they helped her in the front. She could kind of, sort of help herself. She couldn't walk anymore, but she could assist you helping her into the car. So it wasn't like a complete, just dead weight. Yeah. But it was, she could help out somewhat. So I got her in the car, folded up the wheelchair, put it in the trunk, had the plug-in oxygen concentrator, folded that up, put that in the back seat. The oxygen bottles were right behind Grandma, put the cannula on Grandma, put the seatbelt on, closed the door, got in, fired up, drove away. Now we were going from Howell, New Jersey to where Tanya was living at the time in Ironia. And she, Randolph. Well, anyway, wherever Tanya was. So I had this old mixtape that I had made on CD of music that I had borrowed from LimeWire at the time. And I had old Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. So I put that on in the car, and Grandma's sitting there tapping at the music with her one good hand. We're driving down the road, and in that car, everywhere you looked, they were very proud of the fact that car was a Cadillac because they put it on every piece in the interior. So we're driving around the road, and Grandma looks at me, she goes, Steven, is this a Cadillac? Yeah, Grandma, this is a Cadillac. She's like, you always loved big cars. Your grandfather, too, he always loved the big cars. He didn't like the little things. He always loved the big cars. I said, yeah, remember that old Chrysler he had? Went back to the old story with the Chrysler. Those of you still watching back then. Talk about that old Chrysler. So, driving around, just listening to music, riding around on a Cadillac. And that was an older car. It wasn't like the newest, the best Cadillac ever made. But she was very proud of the fact that her grandson was driving her around in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
So we got there. She was listening to music, and it was just a great, great trip. Now, the best part about it was that time in the morning on Thanksgiving Day, no traffic. It was like driving around in I Am Legend. There's no people, nothing moving. What was sad was when I was at the nursing home, and I said to the nurses while they were getting her dressed, I said, hey, but you guys got an easy day today, thinking everybody's leaving. They're going to go home to their families, right? Spend Thanksgiving. He goes, yeah, we're going to have a lot of leave today. I go, cool. I bet you guys going to have nothing to do today. Oh, no, we're not going to have that many leave. I go, how many are going? 11.
Yeah.
How many are here? 220. Wait a minute. You have 220 residents on Thanksgiving, and only 11 are going home. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's pity.
I was mortified. I'm like, can we make like 7 turkeys and bring some turkey here? I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, throwaway people.
Yeah.
Not grandma. Put her in a Cadillac, drove her around, packed up the wheelchair, packed up the concentrator, argued with the people to give me oxygen tanks because they thought I was stealing them or something. Like, we can do oxygen tanks. They're too small for what I need them for. So, right, because they're this big.
Yeah, that's not. That's
Now we're running
like
oxygen settling for like 5 minutes, maybe. Oh, it was just, but it was, same thing. We drove her around, had a great time, and that was her last Thanksgiving. She passed away the following year. So I got to drive her around the last time. So after Thanksgiving, I drove her back and then drove home. Let me tell you, it was a rough drive home, though. I was so tired. I
You
pulled
didn't
over.
come back here?
Yeah, I came here. I wanted to pull over on Route 9 to take a nap, but I was scared the cops would ask me for sleeping in a parking lot.
Right.
And I'm like, but I'm tired and I need to get some sleep because I didn't sleep the night prior. Then I had a big old Thanksgiving dinner. I got home and I home being here.
Tryptophanitis.
Oh, big time. When you're already tired, a turkey nap is like 10 times as strong.
Oh, yeah.
So I got here and I just laid down and poof, comatose for probably like half a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Thanksgiving trip with Grandma, with my grandma.
Hey, Grandma, you should tell the story of speaking of food, of making him eat 11 chicken cutlets.
Oh God!
Yeah, I'm a food pusher.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, but you can't let people forget too
Tanya
much.
named you that. My sister Tanya named Grandma the food pusher. So I'm gonna read some comments and then we're gonna get back to stories. Now that Matt gave us some good
I got
ideas
a
here.
story that
So yeah, I'm trying to find back where we were.
Grandma, the food pusher. Also the denier of food sometimes.
Cameron
I
Heiser.
wanted artichokes.
Cameron Heiser asked me, "Do I ever use a yellow cab over?" No, I sold that truck, and soon we're going to start on the framework on that. As soon as the owner of that truck gets his tax refund, he's going to send money my way so I could order the new second half of the frame rails to replace and make the truck a little longer and much stronger. Oh, back to the cigar. Cigar once in a while doesn't kill. Well, once in a while it's not a problem.
no.
I did smoke them pretty regularly in the truck for a while, and that was bad. So, hello, I am new. How is your cab over truck? Cab over, like Orwell, the cab over the 362 is just fine. New transmission was done maybe about, I don't know, a month ago. Two round trips to the East Coast and a round trip to the West Coast already on the new transmission. That's why I brought the computer here so I can edit while I'm here. That way I don't have a backup. So, oh no! It skipped so far down. Oh man, no, happy Easter. How is Orwell doing? I think we'll just talk about that. That's a 4-spring, back to Suburban. That's a 4-spring, 4-drum Suburban nylon treads, flat spot tires. No, it was 89, so it was rear leaf, front coil, front disc, rear drum, 350 throttle body injection was 1989 Suburban. The Datsun was rear drum, front disc, a less than 2-liter inline 4-cylinder carbureted engine. A snail could whip its ass. Going back a little bit here. FSC, God has blessed you with the most beautiful family. Mom and Dad are the pioneers of the good old days when life was good. God bless y'all. I am, as much as I can be, very aware of the blessings in my life. My family is where it started. My dad, my mom. That's why when the channel was simply car content, I still try to put you and Dad in the videos because, and that's why I want to do it now that you're feeling a lot better and looking good on video. I'm not shy of where my family is. In fact, I'm proud of my family. I come from an awesome family. From my grandfather. Okay, we'll get to that there. From my grandfather to my grandmom, and great. I met the lady with the grill. I met her once, but I was too little to remember because I was still pooping my pants because I was a baby. She died. I was like 6 months old. But I come from an awesome family, and I have an awesome family. My sons, my children, my sister, my niece, my nephew. You guys just met my nephew fairly recently. I have an awesome family, and that's, if any awesomeness comes from me, that's because of my family and where I'm from, and I'm very proud of that and the blessings in my life. And then I meet Jen, and my life just gets amplified like tenfold because I don't have somebody that takes from me. I have people that add to it and support the things I do. And Matt's over there making dances over Jen because, well, Jen is an awesome stepmom for a son that needs good guidance in his world.
Yes, and we approve of her.
So, talking about Matthew here, haha, Matthew. Somebody asked if I make homemade wine. No, we never did that.
I mean, you kind of do.
Road Train 5910 said, what Datsun? Well, your Datsun was a 79 Datsun B210 blue 2-door, your standard, like, with a trunk. It wasn't a hatchback one. Where are my ancestors from? Jake Legg said that. Well, my mom is Italian, like full Italian. Mom was raised in Brooklyn. Your parents were raised in Brooklyn. Their parents, both sides, came from Italy, immigrated here in 1907. Cardinales came in 1907 on the ship called the Città di Napoli, City of Naples, and arrived in Brooklyn in 1907. Their sponsors, the Cardinales at least, their sponsors were from Bayonne, New Jersey.
Yes.
Your grandfather, the Cardinale side, Gennaro Cardinale, he was a barber by trade, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And they wound up in Brooklyn and raised a family in Brooklyn.
Oh, big family.
Very big. And your father's side, grandpa's side, their people came from Calabria.
Calabria and Basilicata.
It's
My grandpa.
Carbonaro and Cardinale?
Correct.
Oh, I thought.
Cardinale.
Oh, okay.
So, Grandma Fran was born Francesca Cardinale.
And Grandpa Albert's grandpa.
Albert Carbonaro.
Carbonaro. Ah, okay. I just
So, by marriage, my my mother's maiden name was Carbonaro because that's what her father's name was. But her grandma was my grandma. I guess grandmas, it gets confusing. How many grandmas are around here? But yeah, so my mom's side comes from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
My father's side is Ukrainian and Polish. We'll get into that with Dad later, but really fast, the Polish lady married the Ukrainian guy, hence my name is Ukrainian, although it's been changed from its original verbiage, however they would spell it in those old days.
Do you know the original?
It had like 5 Z's in it.
No, I
But is it still pronounced the same?
don't know.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know much about that side of the family. I
But
barely know.
Polish
the
people in those days didn't get along with Ukrainian people, and when the Polish guy, I keep saying it right backwards. When the Ukrainian guy married the Polish lady, that created a huge friggin' stink to the point where literally for like most of my father's childhood life, he lived blocks away from his grandmother, didn't even know that was his grandma.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So I'm sorry if it pissed people off. That was terrible.
It was awful.
Why would that, like, hello? I don't get that. So that's,
I mean, there isn't a thing in the world that I would disown my children for, let alone where somebody was born. I don't care, as long as they were born on the earth, that's good enough.
so, but that's the family lineage. So my dad could tell you way better stories of like him growing up and stuff. But yeah, that's why I did not know much of my dad's side, because
He
there
didn't
was
know
none.
a whole lot.
Right. There was not much of a side to know. And that was their choice, not ours. Let's see here. Priceless moment, brother Steve 10-4. Missed the drives from Brunswick over to Mount Carmel, PA. That's another good story should Dad tell about coming from Pennsylvania when mines were starving them out.
Yeah.
That's how the family wound up in New Jersey. Was the mines closing. Well, they closed. They were closing.
Yes.
What do you think of the cab overs we drive over here in Europe? Scania, Volvo, I guess it's pronounced Iveco, Mercedes, DAF. What do you have in store for us in coming weeks on your channel? I actually caught a picture, a video of a Scania here. It was a yellow heavy haul truck at an auction that I picked equipment up at last week. So you guys will see that probably in like, I don't know, 3 years. No, I'm not that bad. I will try to get better with the editing and the timing. But yes, we do have more content. I would like one day, if I ever get off my lazy ass and get a passport, I actually want to come to Europe and do a ride along with somebody that can get me in a truck and ride along, and I can experience and film trucking European style. I'd really love to do that one day, but I need a much bigger channel, I guess. And let's be frank, for that to make money, I probably need a much bigger channel for me to actually do that as a business and profit from it. So, but what do I think of the cab overs from what I see in other videos? I'll tell you, they're like a lot smoother than what we're running now. Look at these hunting down icebox cake.
No.
What are you doing?
I'm hunting down food.
Oh.
I'm tired of just candy and get hungry.
Oh, he's getting hungry. So there's
What the-
leftovers.
Last night.
What is that, Gavadelos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I
Cool.
didn't even know we had that. And so what are we gonna have for supper?
Clams and macaroni.
No.
What?
No.
That's not enough for
Well, all
dinner.
that
Actually, it is.
and the giant pot that's downstairs with the gravy meat, you want clams and macaroni.
Yes. I asked him specifically to ask
I
you for
don't care what you ask him.
No.
Who's the boss?
That.
Oh.
Really?
Not in this
News
house.
to me. He forgot where he was standing.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
You know, ice pizza, right?
Huh? Yeah, you can have icebox cake.
No. I want food. Like
Well, go get
warm,
food.
hungry food.
He wants hungry food.
Like warm pasta or just that type of food.
Look at this. Right here, ma. El Amigo says, Steve, don't forget to buy a couple of boxes of Tutroso.
Yes.
Apparently, he remembers the story of me rolling up with the expedition and buying 12 cases, 144 cans, because they were 60-some cents a can. So I bought like 12 cases and trucked it to Wisconsin.
They looked and they didn't know how to ring it up in the supermarket. Remember?
Oh, yeah. He had to be 144 cans because it wouldn't ring up any other way.
We're transporting pork roll this time.
Yeah, we're transporting pork roll. Nursing
Transported
homes.
it last time too.
Yeah, we lost a lot. We got backed up a lot here. So, Jeremiah Kennett says, regards from Argentina.
Oh, hello.
And I don't know how to work a translator. Somebody's trying to say hi. It looks like hello, or what's como está? What's that?
That's hello in Spanish.
That's hello in Spanish. That's from Roblex
Como
Leo.
estás? How are you?
Is it? I took one class of Spanish.
Well, it isn't cursing me out, so that's
I
pretty
failed
good.
by one class of Spanish. I only
I
passed
had 3
'cause, like,
years of it.
only
Glad-
I passed because of Sean.
Gladiator 0719 says nursing homes are saddest places on earth. Your grandmother was fortunate to have you. Fact was, the only reason she was there is because her physical problems were too much that could be taken care of here at home.
Right.
Like for short, weird period of time for visits and so on. Yeah, but you literally have to hire and we didn't have that kind of money to literally hire a full-time nurse to live in the house with us. And Tanya at the time was still married, raising kids, so it was like we couldn't have
Yeah.
grandma living there. So it was sad. She was living in an assisted living place, so like some of her needs were met, but she was fully functional, could get up and leave, at any time she wanted. But then the stroke took her down, and at that point it was downhill fast.
Stroke took her the wedding, Gerard's second wedding.
Right before it. I think it was the day before.
No, it was that
That-
morning.
Oh, that morning into it. That's
That
right.
morning. Jennifer had gone to the nursing home or the assisted living place to help Grandma get dressed for the
For
wedding.
the wedding.
And she never made it
That
to
was
the
my Uncle
wedding.
Gerard's second wedding.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Because Jennifer came in and found her on the floor.
that's right. I forgot with the timing of it, but yeah. Brother Adams, his family is important. Family is the most important.
Yeah, it is. Without family,
Guys, not for nothing. I watched what my parents did for me all the years when I was young and as a adult struggling, and then there's a reason why my beat ass Chevy is still a beat ass Chevy, and Matt's got a Dodge truck and a highly customized Datsun,
it's all about family.
because it's more important to take care of his needs than it is mine. Once he's out and grown, then I'll take care of my crap. Until then, it's all about my sons. Well, Sean does his own thing completely because he's a grown adult now.
Yeah, but until he became an adult,
Yeah.
you took care of him.
Oh yeah, I did a lot with very little with them guys. Probably the only one I know of that could take a $1,700 motorhome and a $500 Cadillac and tow it all the way down to Florida Keys, because that's what we do. You know, I still got them around. I had no money, not enough to do it with big stuff.
Yeah,
And I parked next to really huge, $100,000 Ford, dualies towing, $80,000 fifth wheels, and there's my collectively $2,200 rig. But I was in the same spot, same keys.
Mm-hmm.
Still rented a boat, still took them out, and boat broke down, but it was a rental.
Yeah.
But we did. That was all good stuff. Road Train 5910 asks bonnet, Scania, or cab over. I hope you're asking somebody else, because I don't know what a bonnet Scania is. But the Scania that I filmed really quick was a conventional that was a heavy haul 4-axle tractor, yellow one. And you see this thing, it stands out. Did your mom enjoy telling the sat nav not to argue? My family doesn't watch my videos like every other YouTuber. The family partakes in the video, but they don't watch any of it. So we want you to comment on the video of me yelling at the sat nav.
Okay.
Yeah, I could probably play that for you on Matt's computer quickly. The little scene on
She's
it.
like, please no.
It is funny. You guys make pierogies in your kitchen?
We have.
Nah.
Absolutely. We do. We
You
made
learned-
homemade with the pasta maker and put them all together and then cook them the rest of the way.
And you taught yourself how to cook them because of Dad.
Yeah.
You wanted Dad to have what he had growing up, so
Yeah.
you never had
We made-
pierogies when you were a kid.
No, I never
Right.
heard them. I had raviolis, but not pierogies. We also grind meat and make kielbasa. We've done it smoked and we've done them fresh.
Your family history is wonderful. Road Train says, time to go catch up later. Nice, Steve. Steve, nice to see your mom again. The funniest chat. Oh, and Matthew. Sorry,
You
you
were
gotta
telling
go.
the story about when you were changing Sean's diaper. You reminded me of changing diapers before. Remember when you went to
So I was 20 years old when my oldest son was born. And at the time we were living in West Virginia. That's the different story. We're not going to talk about that.
No.
So my oldest son, well, he's literally like a couple of days tops old when you came to visit with the Oldsmobile.
But yes, but I think this particular instance, you're
talking about on the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in Pennsylvania.
No,
Yes.
no, West Virginia. He was an infant. He was baby, like days old baby.
I thought it was Pennsylvania, but okay. The story doesn't really matter where.
So I'm a brand new father. I've changed a handful of diapers in the past, but I'm certainly not a pro at this thing. But they're kind of self-explanatory, like that's the hardest thing on planet Earth to do, you would think. So, little bitty guy. Oh yeah, he pooped. Put him on the couch, open up his receiving blanket, take the diaper off, hold him by his legs, scoop the poop out of his rear with the diaper, put the diaper over here, get the baby wipes, and he ain't done. So I wipe. It's like soft serve ice cream with the valve stuck open. You can keep wiping, but it keeps coming out. So now I'm like, wipe, and I'm trying to get the diaper. I made the mistake of closing it up. So now what do I do with these wipes? On the couch or the clean receiving blanket. So I'm trying to quickly get another wipe to put it down and get another another wipe to wipe his butt and put it on the. Now we're getting the pile of wipes getting bigger, and he's just pooping, and I'm like, stop! Like, where is this coming from? I mean, he's a teeny weeny baby. It's only so much poop could be in there. Well, apparently they're more poop than stomach, or more intestine than stomach in that kid. So it's just coming and coming and coming. By the time all said and done, it's just a madhouse of baby wipes with poop on them over here, the baby over here, and actually I'm holding his legs. And finally I get him cleaned up. And baby's awake now. So what do babies do? They move their hands around. They don't really know what they're doing, and then they plop their hand in the poop pile on the baby wipes.
And the foot.
And the foot.
Yeah.
That's God knows how that happened. Probably kicking or something, or a foot got loose while I was in the frantic thing of wiping. And I held his hand with the poop on his hand, and I'm holding his leg, holding his hand, and I put it like in front of his face, and I'm like, Sean, doesn't this bother you? There's crap all over your hand. There's crap all over my hands now. So now I'm trying to hold his, and I'm like, finally I gave up. Actually, I gave up. I'm like, Ma, help.
I couldn't help you. I was laughing
She was
so hard.
so laughing so hard, she was just couldn't see. And my mom, when she laughs that hard, she cries.
Yeah.
And you can't see her do nothing. So it's like I got one hand full of poop, one leg full of poop, both hands full. Who's wiping the kid off?
And Mom's over there laughing at her.
It was hysterical. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just ready to give up and just dunk him in a bathtub or something, because I can't. How do you clean this?
Daddy has
Just hold him over the toilet and let him finish.
Daddy used to
Put him in the tub and scrub him, dub him.
Daddy used to do that to you when you made poops that just, there's no way.
Might have a blowout right up your back.
Yeah. And don't forget, when you were little, we didn't have the disposable diapers.
Hey, that's your
We
problem.
Which one was that? Was that Sean that had that
Sure.
problem?
Yeah.
The story of the poop.
But
Brand new
you
baby.
had regular diapers and they didn't have wipes.
Cloth diapers, yeah.
They had like washcloths and stuff like that. So sometimes cleaning you up was a chore. So Daddy would just take you and dunk you, literally dunk you to get all the poop off you.
I remember you told me a story where like somebody convinced in your head that back then, disposable diapers was for lazy moms. So you bought into that nonsense.
Grandma told
And I
me.
was cloth diaper and had diaper rashes all the
Yeah.
time. So by the time
And
Tanya
that
come rolling around, you were like, F that. Lazy mom it is. I'm disposable
She
diapers.
had, no.
You cloth diapered her too?
I had all the diapers.
Oh hell no, I was the laziest one of all. I had all the different sizes diapers.
No,
All the
had,
disposables.
They had to be washed. They had to be dried. They had to be folded.
The hell with that.
That's
No.
what we did.
No, I had diaper genie. You put it in the diaper genie, twist it. It looked like sausage. Old baby diapers.
Well, we didn't have diaper genies. We had cloth diapers.
Diaper genie, the best thing ever invented.
When I was pregnant, we bought like 6 dozen diapers. And we still had all those diapers. By
Yeah,
the
you used to
time
cover
Tanya
the
was born.
computer keyboard so the dust wouldn't go in
Yeah.
there. They're still flying around this house.
Upstairs.
Freaking diapers are 40 years old. You still got them. They're older than that, 43.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Your family history is wonderful. Oh, we read that already. Mom, have you read Anything Can Happen by George and Hella Papashavli?
No.
No, it used to be The Lie. I used to never read that one. Started my driving career in a Freightliner cab over. Other than the sleeper, it was my favorite truck. Love the porthole windshields. Yeah, Freightliner had it was a solid post in the middle, so like little windshield. Let's see here. That's what I meant by conventional is a bonnet. Most Scanias I see are cab overs. When I did see Scanias here, there was a bunch of trash haulers that used them, and they were all conventionals. Square looking things, weird looking trucks, but yeah, you see them around a little bit here. They came around, seemed like there was one company that ran a lot of them, and then they disappeared. That company dried up because trash doesn't pay anymore. And there used to be a day where trash paid a lot, which had to know somebody that knew somebody, if you know what I'm saying. You know, people like Grandpa.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowadays trash don't pay for spit. So let's do it. Let's do this here. You'll like this because we're slowing down on the comments and we're getting awful long here. But we'll do this. Hey Matt.
What?
How do I find a video? We're gonna play. I'm gonna have you guys watch the video of me yelling at the sat nav in the Kenworth. So how do I?
That was the second most recent video, right?
I'll find it.
It's that one, right?
Basic
travel
old school
ban.
trucker versus modern electronic safety.
There you go.
How it unmute?
You see the button that has the orange on it?
No.
Trial. Next, create
There
your
you go.
t-shirt.
All the way
Use
up.
your own designs
All
or
right, we'll skip my own ads.
It's Monday morning and hasn't started snowing yet.
Is that as loud as it gets?
Mike, the speakers on the laptop itself aren't the greatest.
I'm trying to skip ahead.
All the time, and then you load it 12
So since they ask,
like Mark. Alright, we got. Oh! It's too low for. It's local.
trying to find where it starts.
Or rather, I see.
I think it starts right on here. All right, so
Local. Or rather, I see all.
all right, so I'm gonna make the screen bigger. So this is about, so you guys see, it's about where it starts. Where I start yelling at the sat nav. So what's gonna happen, Ma, is
But that's fine.
right here. This is the ELD because of personal information. I keep it pixelated out.
Yeah.
This is the Kenworth's radio. Okay, also just like your car, it's got the radio, the navigation, all that stuff in one bit.
We're not crossing the canal from what I can tell. It's on this side of the canal.
And I think I'm too far ahead.
Federal rule upstate, unless it says actual, add a foot. We're making our right on the park up here. And then our right, which is this park Ave here, bridge closed at canal, local traffic, all local traffic. Well, it says all, but I see local. Or rather, I see all, but it says local. But that's fine, we're not crossing the canal from what I can tell. It's on this side of the canal.
Saw the camera on the hood, the mirror.
Weight limit's too low for, well, it's local delivery. We don't have an option. There is no other alternative. Besides, there's no alternative like Mark. Or, see, we just passed the sign that said 11-ton limit. Okay? That was for that road that turned off. This road isn't restricted. That road, if I make this left, is. Ay, ay, ay. Shut up!
See, it won't.
I know!
You have to press OK for it.
Ugh.
You have, otherwise it won't stop. You clear it, and then it goes again.
Because it's coming to another street.
Right.
I don't know how people deal with that on a regular basis. You gotta be kidding me.
I told you, shoot it.
Shut up! See? 12-ton bridge. It's closed. One of the canal's lift bridges, you can see the. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see the.
So the point was, the first time it went off before I started it, it was going off because I'm approaching a low bridge. Okay, but I know I'm making a right turn before the bridge. I know about the bridge. So, okay, you would think, okay, it beep beep, low bridge, hit okay. You've acknowledged the warning.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I mean, like, literally, don't warn me until after I hit the friggin' bridge. Because you've warned me, I acknowledged the warning. Got it. How many more times you gotta warn me? Well, now it's warning you about restricted roads that really aren't restricted because it's local delivery. The side streets are what's restricted, and it's just, you'll see. commercial. Yeah, I sold advertisements. You know, it's a business. I don't do this for free.
Where if the bridge was up, you can still walk across it because they have stairs. Ay, ay, ay. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
My phone does that to me.
Now I'm missing Orwell, big time. Orwell doesn't bitch and complain and talk back. Beep, 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 beep. Shut the hell up. There's all kind of businesses here that take trucks. This one.
Watch, this is where it gets funny.
Bonduelle? B-O-N-D-U-E-L-L-E.
French Canadian.
Alright, we are here. We have arrived. You see? We're here. Look at all the trucks. How do you think they get here? They get here using the roads. They don't just fly in here by helicopter. So shut it, because I want to hear your mouth when we leave.
Which is better?
You know where to go? Why don't you tell me that, huh?
I'm
Well, we're
looking.
neither shipping bulk or receiving bulk. I don't think we need the incident command center. I'll call him on the phone. Park over here next to W900.
So yeah, I had equipment, so I'm like maintenance. I don't need bulk shipping or receiving. But like, it was first going off because of the bridge, and it was going off because of the low weight on the road. The other roads, I'm like, oh my god, like how do you drive? Like I was watching, and that's what's weird with some of these. I was watching another YouTuber just bought a brand new truck used for motor tiller. And there's so many like alerts on it. Like every time you turn wide to make a lane, to make a right turn, you're out of your lane. So it's beep, 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 because you're out of your lane. So your lane drift warning goes off. So it's like, so every time I make a turn, this buzzer goes off. Every time I pass something or might be approaching something. So there's a point where it's just so many warnings that you just ignore every damn one of them.
That's right.
Which totally defeats the purpose of a warning system. Like, warn me when it's actually important, not when I don't really need to hear this crap. So we'll go back. Oh, these YouTubers are sold their soul to advertising. Oh, these ads. Yeah, I know, it's not free. Matt, how do I make it? I got it. I found a mute. Like, help, make the, although
I have two things I have to do. Take out the butter because Daddy's going to be hungry. And
Okay.
I have to go quiet.
okay, we're probably going to end it soon here. So let's check for a new,
And just remember, I don't have the large bladder you do.
okay. No, that's, you want to tell that story?
What? No.
Nah, we won't tell that story. I had to go. You can't really blame me for that. So, all right. Well, I guess we may as well cut her short here. So, or that should cut her short. It's been 2 hours now.
It's been more than 2 hours.
Mute on, right?
Yeah. Well, it hears us, but we don't hear it. So, we got to do stuff. So, maybe we'll. So guys, the game plan, I guess, is we'll call it off here, and then later on tonight, hopefully, we'll just change camera angles. I'll sit over there, and we'll tell some stories of old with Dad, who came downstairs. What you looking for?
My cell phone.
Don't know.
Did you? Please.
Look up there.
No. Can you please go upstairs to the desk in the computer room? It's on the desk.
Okay. All right, so Jen's gonna go get Dad's cell phone. We're gonna call the end of the live stream here. You have fun telling stories?
I did.
You know, you could go to the computer and rewatch that if you want.
Okay.
It might be interesting. So, all right, guys, we're gonna call it quits here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, if Dad's feeling up to it, we'll go ahead and do another live stream and get Dad telling some stories and have a couple of drinks and
Happy
Have a good old
Easter.
time.
Happy Easter to everyone. And thank you for wishing us a happy Easter. And be careful
Hey,
out
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, these are the oldest ones. The other one's gonna expire until 2023.
hit the X makes it go away. All right.
The others are 223. These are 821.